How are you feeling today? Do you feel fulfilled in life? The show will begin in 4 minutes. Are you ready? When was the last time you felt betrayed? When was the last time you felt loved? The show will begin in 3 minutes. Are you ready? What did it feel like to be in love? What is the most painful part of being in love? The show will begin in 2 minutes. Are you ready? Are you ready to be transformed? Are you ready to make a change? The show will begin in 1 minute. I hope you're ready. The show will begin in exactly 30 seconds. Get ready. What if I told you that men are lying to you when they say they want peace? What if I also told you that the more you stress him out, the more desirable you'll be to him? If that sounds strange to you, don't worry. On today's show, we're going to be discussing why men fall in love when you stress them. That way, you can understand the strategy of how do you stress to make the men in your dating life obsessed with you. Welcome to the Players Club. If you're paying attention to me and everyone else in the live stream, please stay here present so that I know you're here present and actively participating. How are all of you beautiful souls doing today? Okay, good to see you. Sorry I'm a little bit late. I was in traffic, speeding home, trying to get to you, okay? But I'm here now, nevertheless, and safe and sound. So good to see all you beautiful people. Who we got up in the YouTube chat? We got Maria, we got Steph, I see we got Zyra, we got Dave, we got Sharice is here, our amazing moderator. We got SH here, our amazing moderator. We got Anna is here. We got a second Anna who is here. Is here. Is always here. It was Scotty here. I think I saw this. Is Scotty here? I believe Scotty's here. We got Amy here. We got Elizabeth here. Kayla here. Caitlin here. Kate here. Alexa here. Welcome all you beautiful people in the TikTok chat. Who we got in the YouTube chat? We got Asia is here. We got Ambi here. We got Ivy, one of our amazing channel members. We got Natalie here. We got Jazz here. Amal is here. Mary J is here. Beatrix is here. Sherry is here. We got another Alexa here. Who else? Let me scroll up. We got Irina here. We got Mila here. Let me shout out all the channel members. We got Carmen, who just became a channel member here. And who else? Who's another channel member up in the chat here? Let's see. We got Melita is up in here. And we got Henya up in here, one of our amazing channel members. Welcome all you beautiful people. And of course, we got Missy America holding us down as our moderator in the YouTube chat. How are you all doing? Let's get started today. We got lots to discuss and we're going to go in depth with it. Okay. So first things first, let's discuss why anxiety is such a good thing. See, today's whole show is going to be about helping you understand why the guys that you're going to be dating are actively going to be giving you advice, okay, on how you should approach them, how you should date them, how you should love them. But it's actually going to be the exact opposite of what you're supposed to be doing if you want the right response from him. Now, of course, men aren't going to come out and tell you, hey, I want you to stress me out, because if you want me to like you, that's what's going to get you that type of response where I'm really crazily obsessed over you and I really want to be with you and I want to spend every second of my day with you. So if you can stress me out, give me anxiety, that would be the best in order to elicit those feelings of desire from me. Of course, men aren't going to tell you that. And you know what your mistake is? When guys are talking to you and you're asking them, oh, hey, what do you want? What are you looking for? What do you like? What do you dislike? You take a lot of what they say literally thinking, oh, well, the guys say they want this and they say they want that. So if I give them this and I give them that, then they should respond to me positively in the ways that I'm looking for and give me the type of treatment I want, be obsessed with me, really like me, and all that good stuff. But what you end up getting instead is you end up getting the opposite of the reaction and response that you're looking for, okay? And essentially, let me just make sure I pull up our TikTok chat here. Essentially, what you end up getting, instead of that guy being obsessed with you and desiring you and wanting to be with you, you end up getting him kind of throwing you to the side, discarding you, not really thinking of you, and not really caring about you. All the things that we don't want for you and for your situation. Okay, so let's understand that anxiety is good. See, guys are going to tell you when they're dating you, I'm looking for peace, strictly peace. I want everything to be easy. I don't want to work for it. I don't want to be too stressed out. I already got a stressful job. I don't need my relationship to be stressful. I just want peace. I want quiet. I want just tranquility, nothing to be hard and everything to be easy. Please just say yes to everything. Don't make my life any harder than it has to be. And you hear that and you start taking it literally. So you think, oh, all these guys are all saying the same thing. They all want peace. They all want me to be quiet. They all want me to be submissive and docile and not say anything, not speak up for myself, make this as easy going and as smooth a ride as possible. And that's when he's going to really like me. That's when he's going to give me the treatment that I want and the treatment that I'm looking for. It's wrong. You're going to give that man anxiety, and I'm going to show you today here why anxiety is good. Okay, so let's hop into this here right from the very beginning. We're not going to mess around. Okay, so let's start off with anxiety. Why my iPad not charging here? What the heck? Okay, let's start off with anxiety, and we're going to, in the process, oh, I had my iPad plugged in the wrong charger. Okay, so let's start off with anxiety. The reason I'm looking at the iPad is because we're gonna go straight to the whiteboard. Okay, we're gonna go to the whiteboard. All right, let's get started with our whiteboard today so I can explain to you why anxiety is good, okay? Never, ever forget this. So don't listen to the men that they tell you, hey, anxiety is bad, don't stress me out, I don't want to be stressed, and all that goofy stuff, all right? Let's really get an understanding of why anxiety can be good. So we're going to split our page in half here, okay? So on side number 1 of our page, let me make sure that this is tall enough for all of you to see. Let me go back to, oops. How do I undo? I'll just erase. Okay. Let me put a little chart for you guys to all understand this, right? So on one side of the table, we're going to have anxiety. And on the other side, we're going to have peace. Now, in this case, on these two sides of the table here, anxiety and peace, we're going to be discussing what it's like for a guy to go out on a date with you. Okay? So an anxiety version of a date and a peaceful version of a date for a guy, okay? And I want us to break this down. So let's say for this anxiety date here, this guy, okay, so this guy is, let's just draw a little stick figure man, right? This guy is gonna go on a date with his dream woman, right? Date, we'll put it here. Okay, so man in Anxietyville is going to be going on a date with his dream woman. So let's kind of think to ourselves what the mind frame, the mind state, and all the things that this guy is going to go through going on a date with his dream woman, right? So there's a lot of things that are going to be going through his mind in the process of going on a date with his dream woman, right? He's going to be thinking to himself, I can't mess this up, right? Let's think of some of the other things that might be coming to his head. Okay, right? I gotta put my best foot forward. For those of you that might not understand that saying, that just means I've got to do my best in this situation. Put my best foot forward. Why? This is my dream woman, and this is my opportunity to go on a date with my dream woman. If I don't seize this opportunity or do it right, I might never get an opportunity like this again, right? So this is another one of the things that he's going to be thinking of. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity. Oops, did I spell that wrong? Opportunity. Okay, right? And so because of that, he's going to have a lot of anxiety, all of these things going through his mind, right? Because he's going to want to be good for the day. He's going to want to make sure everything is taken care of for the day. And it's going to be a lot of stress and anxiety. Now, let's look at guy number 2, who is in Peaceville, okay, going on a stress-free, anxiety-free date, okay? So let's say he's going on a date with a random from Tinder, okay? So guy number 2 is going on a date with a random girl from Tinder, okay? Nothing wrong with Tinder, and not that you're a bad person if you use Tinder, but let's understand this. So he's going on, guy number 2 is gonna go on a peaceful date with a girl from Tinder. So let's just imagine in our head, guy number 1 who's going on this dream date, right? He's going to Nobu, okay? And guy number 2 who's going on a regular date that, you know, is really peaceful, he's going all the way home. Okay, so this date is going to be right in his home. Now, guy number 2 who has the peaceful date, okay, so we'll call this guy number 1, And this is guy number 2. So guy number 2 who has his peaceful date going, right? He's thinking to himself, this is easy. No, well, oops, where my pen go? No need to worry, right? No worries about a thing. So great, right? Let's get this done fast. Okay? So we're going to acknowledge some of the things that both of these guys are doing. So let's break some of this down here. So guy number 1 is thinking to himself, these are the type of things that are going through his mind, okay? So guy number 1 is thinking, I can't mess this up. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity, right? I got to make sure I do the right thing. I got to make sure I say the right thing. I got to make sure I put my best foot forward. So let's even kind of brainstorm what some of the things that guy number 1 might be doing that's living in anxiety world, since he's thinking like this and this is what's going through his mind. So how is he going to be acting on these thoughts? Guy number 1 in Anxietyville. He's going to be going out and to the barbershop and getting a nice haircut, spending like $50 on his hair. He's going to be making sure he clips his nails because he doesn't want to have long, nasty looking nails when he's on this date. He's going to be making sure that he shaves before he goes on this date because he wants to make sure that he looks good and his beard is all trimmed up or whatever is all trimmed up that needs to be trimmed up. He might even, shave between his legs, right? He just wants to make sure he's prepared for everything and he can put his best foot forward in every which way. What's he going to do? He's going to look for a nice reservation at a nice restaurant, right? Obviously, in this case, he's going to Nobu. So he's going to make sure a couple weeks ahead, he books that reservation, knows the time and knows how long it's going to take him to get there. He's going to be thinking about, okay, how is she going to get there? Am I going to pick her up? Okay, how long is that going to take for me to go and get her? All right. How long is it going to take for us to go and get to the restaurant from her place? And what time am I going to be dropping her back up? He's going to be thinking about logistics. He might even be thinking about, okay, I want to make sure I plan and get her a gift or something special before this date to make sure that she knows I really appreciate her, get her some flowers or something that she mentioned or whatever it may be, so that she knows that even more than the date, I've been thinking of her throughout the week, right? So I say all that to say, these are just a few of the things that a guy is going to do because of his anxiety. So it's funny because a guy will tell you that he doesn't want anxiety, but when you think about the actions he'll take when he's in an anxious state like this, when I talked about going and getting a haircut and shaving and making sure the restaurant's booked and getting you some nice flowers or something like that before this date, those are all good things. Those are all things you would like to happen. And those are all things you would appreciate from a guy that you're dating. But that's not the state that your guy asked to be in his relationship. Isn't that quite strange? Now, let's take a look at guy number 2, who is in the peaceful state, okay? In the peaceful state that all guys are asking for, please make my life easy, make it peaceful, don't make me work too hard for stuff. I don't want to have to be stressing about this and stressing about that and stressing about everything else that's going on in our relationship and with you, and have all these boundaries and standards and expectations, blah, 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 blah. So guy number 2 is in peace state. He meets you on Tinder. So peaceful. He gets to lay in bed, scroll on his phone. He doesn't even have to use all his fingers, just his thumbs to tap on you, swipe on you, message you, and then get on a date with you. He gets to stay in his nut-stained boxers with his crusty sock by his bed, okay? In his dirty sheets that he never washes. Sorry, he doesn't even have sheets. There's no sheets on his bed, just the blanket over it. And he gets to lay in that bed while swiping on you and messaging you and then organizing a date with you. It's not really a date. You're just coming over to his house. But this is such a peaceful state, remember? Okay? Very, very peaceful state for him. No anxiety, no stress whatsoever. You're going to come to his house, so he doesn't even really have to do anything, okay? Because he's not going to leave his house. He doesn't have to plan for anything. All he's got to do is get up out of bed. You thought I was going to say he has to clean. No, he's not going to clean. He's probably just going to shove the clothes that are on his bed and on the floor into the closet, if he even does that, okay? And there's still going to be dishes in the sink. There's the living room's probably still going to be messy, stuff all around, and he might just kick some of the dirt under the cushions, kick some of the dirt under the couches, and call it a day. Okay? Still, things aren't looking good. But that's a very peaceful state, remember? The guys are asking you for peace. Oh, peace is so good. That's all I think about all day is peace. That's all I desire all the time is peace. Peace and tranquility. That's all I need. I want to be like a monk on the high hills. Peace, tranquility, all that good stuff. Very peaceful, right? To not have to think, not have to work. So you come over and his place is still dirty. His room is still a mess. Sheets are not even on the bed. And, nut stains still on his boxers. He didn't even put on a nice fresh fit because he's in the house, right? Very peaceful. You come over, he offers you some, 2-month-old, half, 1 quarter left of vodka, of a cheap vodka, because all the good vodka has already been drank in his house. So he offers you that 1/3 of the cheap bottle of vodka still left in his house. And he's like, hey, you want to drink some stuff? Let's drink a little bit while we, sit on the couch and watch some Netflix. You're like, sure. And he pours you a little bit of this empty, backwashed vodka that other people have been drinking at his place. Very peaceful though, right? And you guys sit there, drink, you chit chat about basically nothing. And then, he turns on Netflix, it's playing in the background, and you guys just sit there and then you get a nut-stained blanket and you put it over yourselves and you start watching the Netflix with your little bit of backwashed vodka. And this is so peaceful. Very peaceful, right? Nice and, tranquil, sitting there and relaxing, backwashed vodka in your hand, just watching The Office for the 85th time on Netflix, and underneath this blanket, nice and warm, nice and cuddled up, nice and snuggled. Real peaceful. But you see how when a guy gets peace, or the thing that he's been asking you for, you don't really get much out of that. Okay, so Can says some stale Pringles, right? So it's a crunchy blanket. And so, but my point being is, notice how in scenario number 2, when the guy receives the peace that he's looking for, you don't really get anything. You don't get effort, right? You don't get him working hard for you in the relationship. You're like on the back burner. You're like the absolute last thought. And everything he does with you is the absolute bare minimum. In fact, in some ways, it's funny. When you allow guys to do the bare minimum, they even look for ways to go below the bare minimum, right? And so in this scenario, a guy is getting peace, right? Because he would consider this such a peaceful night where he can just sit on the couch with you, do nothing, not have to be anyone, not have to say anything, not have to put his best foot forward. That's very peaceful, very relaxing. But you don't end up getting the response from him that you're looking for. Because remember, this is still about your happiness as well. So when a guy is asking you for peace and you're thinking, okay, well, making you happy is giving you peace, so I'll give you that. In return, you only end up getting the opposite of the type of treatment that you're looking for, which is why I'm trying to give you guys this example, so that makes sense to you. So the reason I say that is because I want you to start understanding that anxiety is actually good. We're going to break this down even more throughout the rest of the show, but I want you guys to understand why this concept is so prevalent and so real. Don't ever think to yourself when men are asking you for peace that you're actually going to get the type of response in return from him that you're looking for. So whenever guys ask you for peace, because obviously we're not in love with each other and we're not dating. Okay, at least I don't think we're dating. And because we're not dating, when I'm telling you that guys aren't actually looking for peace, I don't have any investment in the outcome. The problem is when the guys that you're dating are telling you they want peace, the outcome for them is positive if you give them that. Because if you're only ever giving them peace, never asking of them anything in the relationship, and you're just willing to take the absolute bare minimum in order to be the most peaceful, well, who does that benefit? That benefits him. Because then he can receive and receive and receive from him, and you're only thinking about how to be more peaceful, so you never speak up for how he's not giving you anything in return. right? And who does that benefit? Giving him peace, who does that benefit? It benefits him. But in the end, after you benefit him so much, there is nothing left for you. So in reality, based on how we just broke this down, right, as a small little example, actually, the guy who has more anxiety ends up treating the woman better because of that anxiety. So you got to kind of remove yourself from the thought process that all emotions that we consider to be negative are only bad outcomes can come from those emotions. And you also got to remove yourself from the idea that all emotions that we consider to be positive, only good things come from those emotions, okay? Because in this scenario right here, what we would consider a happy emotion, which is peace, right? A good emotion, which is peace, a lot of negative things come from, right? Meaning he gives you the bare minimum. He doesn't do a lot for you. He doesn't put his best foot forward in the relationship. And on the flip side, when you're thinking anxiety, that's very bad. You shouldn't want to give someone anxiety. That's a bad and negative emotion. A lot of positive things end up happening for you and for the relationship, in the relationship, when he has that anxiety. By the way, those of you who are like, hey, get to the point. I want you to tell me everything in 5 seconds. Please exit the chat. Please go somewhere else where someone will give you information in 10.5 seconds. If you're looking for a short, keep scrolling on TikTok, keep scrolling on YouTube Shorts. This ain't the place for shorts. This is not the place for you at all, okay? The rest of us are here to have a discussion, okay? We go back and forth. We're like friends. You're not part of the friend group. Please go somewhere else. This is for us in our friend group, okay? We're in a group chat here. Please exit, all right? The rest of you. Now, I want you guys to understand this concept. It's very important. Okay? Don't ever equate peace to all positive, and I want you actually to flip it on its head. When guys get anxiety, you're actually getting a lot of good. When guys are getting too much peace, okay? And when I say peace, I just mean being able to be peaceful, doing the absolute bare minimum. You're actually going to be getting a lot of bad outcomes from that. And when I say bad outcomes, I just simply mean the guy is not going to be treating you the way that I know you want to be treated. Because the treatment that you're actually looking for, which is princess treatment, actually comes when guys are more anxious than they are laid back and relaxed. Why? Because they want to put their best foot forward. Does that make sense to you guys so far? Okay. Wow, that's ice cold. That's so good. Okay, so let's hop into I had it on my screen there. I don't want you guys to see the next point. Let's hop into point number 2. You didn't see anything, okay? So point number 1 was anxiety is good, okay? So I hope that point makes sense to you guys. Now, point number 2. Point number 2. I'm going to call this stop pooping time because I want you guys to be paying attention. I was considering it, but I want to call it stop pooping time. Okay, so number 2, we're already getting to stop pooping time, meaning you snip off your poop if you're on the toilet, and you take your hand out of your pants if you're laying in your bed. You didn't see it, okay? You didn't see it. Number 2 is texting stress. Now, this is the mistake. Remember, this whole show today that we're talking about is specifically stress, but why you want to be doing the opposite of what men are asking you for, because what men are asking you for is peace. You actually want to be giving them stress because that's going to yield you the result you want. So let's talk about another aspect of that, which is the texting stress. Now, this is so important, and this is why I'm going to call this stop pooping time, because this is something that you'll notice in men that you date. Whenever they want your time, right? They want you to speak to them. They want you to talk to them. They expect you to answer them instantly or as fast as you possibly can. And see, here's the thing. As a guy begins liking you more and wanting to spend more time with you and wanting to be around you more, he wants more and more of your time. So one of the things that you're going to notice is guys want you to talk to them more and text them more and call them more. And so, you know how when we talked about anxiety is good and guys will say, oh, I want peace. Peace is what I'm looking for. Another one of the things that guys are going to ask of you and tell you, they're going to say, oh, I want a girl that, can text me all the time, that can talk to me whenever, that we can, talk about anything 24/7. And they're going to encourage you to text them a lot. And they'll even say things like this. Tell me in the chat if you've ever heard a guy say this to you before that you've been talking to or in a relationship with. They'd be like, oh, I would love to be with a girl who would call me when she wants to speak to me. I would love to be with the girl who'll take the initiative of texting me when she wants to talk to me, or FaceTiming me at any time of the day when she wants to talk to me. Tell me in the chat if you've ever heard a guy say that to you. It's a trap. It's a trap. Okay? This is an attempt for guys to get what they want in terms of not having to stress or be anxious about you, because you are always reaching out to them. This is a trap. I really mean this. Okay. I'm very serious about this. Even when it comes to texting, you do not want to make the mistake of thinking, oh, well, you're telling me I should reach out to you all the time and that you'll actually like me more if I reach out to you all the time. But in reality, when you end up reaching out to him all the time, 24/7, thinking that you're doing something for him by, or showing him something by reaching out to him all the time, you only end up realizing that as you reach out to him more and more and more, what ends up happening in return? He reaches out to you less and less and less. And eventually you get to the point where you're the only one reaching out. You're the only one calling him. You're the only one, trying to FaceTime him, right? Or message him. And now he's never doing anything for you. Now he's never reaching out to you. Now he's never calling you. And you're wondering why this is going on. But here's the thing. It's part of the fake out. And the reality that men don't fall in love with getting more peace by you reaching out to them all the time and you texting them all the time, because that's another form of peace, right? And that's what I want you to kind of get the grasp of here, and the different ways men are going to ask you for peace, but what they really actually respond to is stress. So as a guy likes you more and he wants to speak to you more and he wants to talk to you more and get to know you more, he's going to ask of you to reach out to him more, to text him more, to call him more, right? And to be available to him over the phone more. But in reality, what I want you to do, and this is where the strategy comes in, I want you to never try harder to be more available over the phone. Never. Okay? I don't care how much he begs you. And this is what I want you to understand. As a guy likes you more, he's going to become more and more anxious around you, and especially around the fact that you're not talking to him all the time, that you're not reaching out to him all the time. And this is where the fake out can happen, because you can actually make the mistake of having a guy who has a lot of interest in you lose interest in you over time by actually listening to what he's saying about reaching out to you more. And reaching out to him more and texting him more and calling him more, thinking, oh, if I do this more, he'll like me more. And then his interest dwindles in you over time. So I say that to say, when you're strategizing and thinking about, okay, I want him to be falling in love with me. I want him to continue liking me. I want his feelings to continue increasing for me. You cannot listen when men are telling you, reach out to me more, call me more, text me more, message me more, send me more memes, FaceTime me more. Do not listen to them, okay? In fact, I want you to keep the pace exactly what it needs to be, which is use messaging, especially with the guys that you're dating and you're building romantic relationships with. Use it strictly for scheduling and avoid texting just to try to get to know him. No matter how much he begs you and no matter how much he tells you, oh, but it just stresses me out that you don't text me and it just stresses me out that you don't message me. And I know when guys say this to you, it starts to bubble your anxiety. Because you start to feel like, oh man, but I feel like I'm going to lose him if I don't listen to him, because every time he's begging me to text him more, and every time he's begging me to call him more, but because I'm never doing it, I feel like I'm going to lose him, Tomisin, if I don't message him. Like, he's literally begging me for it all the time. So I don't know what to do. I feel like I have to text him more. You don't. No, you don't. And in fact, if you actually continue doing what you've been doing, which is nothing, and continue staying off of that phone, yes, he will be anxious. Okay, he will be. I'll acknowledge that. He will be anxious. Yes, he'll be a little bit agitated, but you have to understand within that anxiety, which is why I brought anxiety being good up first. Within that anxiety, you can actually get a lot of positive things. Okay, and you can get a lot of good outcomes that you're actually looking for. Because when he's anxious, even in the sense where he feels like, oh, you don't talk to me over the phone enough, you don't text me, enough, you don't message me or call me enough. But even though he says that makes him anxious, what he's not telling you is it also keeps his hunger and desire for you going. And ironically, that's actually the anxiety that men are referring to when they express to you that they wish you would talk to them more over the phone. What they wish would happen is that you would ease that anxiety that they feel and that frustration that they feel because they constantly have a hunger to talk to you more. Okay? And this is what I'm going to attempt to break down for you so that you can better understand this and translate this. Because whenever a guy is complaining to you, hey, you don't reach out to me enough, you don't text me enough, you don't, send me enough messages and call me enough, I feel like I'm always having to reach out to you. What they're attempting to do is ease their anxiety, because it becomes frustrating for men to feel like I always desire more of you. I never feel satisfied with how much I get from you. I feel like I need more access to you. I need to talk to you more. I need to hear from you more. I need to feel more like you want me just as much as I want you, because the constant feeling of always feeling like I'm on my toes, hovering over, literally, pressing you and pressuring you because I want you so bad becomes aggravating and frustrating for me. But the reality of it is that's exactly where you want your men to be. You want them to be on their toes, leaning forward. Why? Because that's when they're hungry. That's when they have a lot of desire. That's when they're pursuing you because of that hunger and that desire. So what do? You get princess treatment. You get a lot of the things you ask for because he's on his toes, leaning forward. Meanwhile, when he's relaxed, sitting back, not thinking he has to do anything for anything because he's getting everything he wants, you get way less good treatment or over-the-top treatment or princess treatment from him because he's in a relaxed state. Are you following me so far? So you can never, ever, ever, ever think to yourself that reaching out to a guy more is going to decrease his stress level and anxiety level and frustration level, and that's going to make him like me more. In fact, it will do the opposite. It's going to make him like you less over the course of time, because as you give him the peace that he's looking for, as you ease the anxiety in the ways that he's asking you to ease his anxiety, he will only end up saying, good. Now that my anxiety has been eased, I can move my thoughts and my mind into and onto something else or someone else. Okay? So please never, ever listen to men when they are asking you to text them more or reach out to them more. You will never yield the result that you are looking for. Does that make sense to all of you beautiful people so far? Okay? Okay. I muted myself drinking. And for those of you who are like, oh, I don't like when you drink the water. Tell me, mute when I drink water, or no? Do you guys not care? Okay, I can remember to mute myself when I drink water if you guys don't want to hear the sound, right? Does that make sense to all of you? So you say no. Okay, so it's very important. Texting stress, never try to ease his anxiety. Oh, damn. Okay. So maybe I let you guys hear when I drink the water. I didn't know that people actually want to hear that. Okay. All right. I won't mute it. Okay. I won't mute it. All right. So it's ASMR for you guys. Right. So Anxiety is good was number 1. Texting stress is number 2. You guys are funny. I thought you guys would be like, yeah, mute it. You guys are like, no, don't mute it. I want to hear it. Anxiety is good, number 1. Texting stress is number 2. So number 3, very important. You want to stay. It's okay. Let me rephrase this. Number 3 is going to be the stay forever mistake. Okay. Another one of the things that guys are going to attempt to do when they start liking you, okay, is you're going to, try to understand, what do you like? What do you need? What do you want? Right? Because you want to understand what works for you, what doesn't. And in the process of a guy liking you more as he's building his feelings for you, you're going to hear him say something like this over the course of time when you guys are spending time together. I love spending time with you so much. Let's spend more time together, right? So let's extend our date. So for example, you guys might be out at a restaurant or something like that, enjoying your time. You're laughing, you're giggling, you're smiling, having a great time. And he'll be like, oh, I just feel like the 2 hours went by so fast. The 3 hours went by so fast. Let's go back to my place. You go back to his place, and then he's like, oh, I just love spending so much time with you. Just why don't you, I know you're here already and we've been having some wine and we've been sipping, but why don't you stay over? And then you stay over and then you wake up the next day and he's like, oh, I just love spending time with you so much. Let's go out and do a day thing. And then you go out and do a day thing, right? And so here's the problem, okay? This is a function of what another one of the things that men are going to ask you for to ease their anxiety, right? But in reality, when you give this to them and you provide them with this version of peace, they only end up responding to you in negative ways. Said it. It's another trap. It's a trap. Do not ever, 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 ever listen to men when they ask you to stay forever. Never. Never. Listen, look in I should have called this not poop, stop pooping that. Look in my eyes. Never. They will always listen to me. They will always ask this of you when they begin to like you more, or if they just, want to get this going really fast. Okay. And so guys are always going to be saying to you, spend more time with me. Let's turn our 2-hour date into 4 hours. Let's turn 4 hours into 6 hours. Why don't you just stay the night? Why don't you stay 2 nights? Why don't you stay 3 nights? Why don't you be here all throughout the week and basically have half of your closet here and never leave? But that only lasts for about 2 to 3 weeks, and then he's sick of you, and then he doesn't want to hear from you anymore, or he ghosts you. Okay? And this is kind of the problem. See, as guys like you more, they're going to want you to stay forever and stay more and stay more and stay more. But there's a mistake there. When you provide that to them, they start feeling like, oh, well, now that you're always here, I no longer have the room to desire more time with you. I no longer have the room to say, hey, I miss you or want to see you more or spend more time with you. This is why it's a trap. And I've talked about not being available to guys in the past, but this is a kind of, in a different sense, a trap, because this can even come from guys that actually like you. So what I'm attempting to do is help you, even with the guys that actually like you, so that they continue to like you over the course of time. Because I know this is something that some of you struggle with, because when you hear a guy say, spend more and more time with me in person even, and be with me all the time and sleep over 24/7, you're thinking, oh, I should do that, because if I sleep over 24/7 and fulfill that desire, he'll like me more and we'll be in a better relationship because he'll like me more because I sleep over more. But in reality, when you listen to him and you stay forever and you're here all the time, now, because you're here all the time, the only thing left for him to say is, great, so glad that you're here all the time, 24/7, but maybe I could have a break from you sometimes, every now and again, because I just feel like, yeah, we spent a week together, but now that it's been a week, I feel like I could take a day or 2 or 3 or 1 week away from you, okay? And that's the problem, because then when you get into that mode, right? Remember, when he's no longer on his toes and he's kind of leaning back and he's like, yeah, you gave me what I asked for. Now that I have that, I was kind of thinking maybe we do a thing where we're just casual or we're just friends or we're just cool type of thing. And see, immediately, unfortunately, when you stop stressing the guy out and you give him the peace that he was looking for, now once that anxiety has gone away, the pursuit goes away. So I want you to start thinking every time there's anxiety, there's also pursuit. And anytime there's a lack of anxiety or stress, there's always a lack of pursuit, which is why sometimes you're going to make the mistake of thinking, oh, when guys ask for peace, what they don't want is stress. But in reality, men are going to be falling more in love with you when there is stress present and there is anxiety present. Because when you don't stay forever and when you cut the date short, which is what we're going to have a whole show just on how to pace relationships, right? And even pace dating. But when you cut the dates short, even when you like the guy, and even when these things are all going well, when you cut the date short and you never overstay and you never listen to what he says by staying 24/7, 365 all the time, you're only going to end up winning because in response to that, right, he's going to be anxious and he's going to feel like, damn, I would love to see her more. So what is he going to do? He's going to in turn ask you out on more dates, more often and more frequently, because 2 hours in one date for one time a week doesn't feel like enough. So what does he do? He asks you on more dates, more days of the week to see you more times. And then the pacing comes in and the strategizing comes in where you say yes to enough things to allow him to see you more, but not yes to too many things that now you're here all the time, every day, 24/7, and he can ever get sick of you, right? So it's essentially like, so I want you to imagine yourself as like candy or like dessert. Okay. And your man is like a toddler. So a toddler is always going to want more sugar, more candy, more dessert, more all the time. They're going to think they can never have enough. But the reality of it is, as an adult, you're like the adult, okay? You're the adult that understands if you give your child way too much candy and way too much sugar, they will eventually throw up, get sick, and they'll be pointing the finger at you and be upset with you that, why did you give me so much candy? My stomach hurts now. And so you have to be thinking of the child before the child can even think for themselves. Might be what you're asking for, but this isn't necessarily what you need. Yes, you love dessert and you love cake and you love ice cream and you love chocolate, but I'm only going to give you that in sparing amounts. You can have a little bit of that. You enjoy your little chocolate, your little piece of cake. And tomorrow, after you eat your vegetables, you get another little small piece of cake and another little treat. But I'm not going to give you the whole box of cookies. I'm not going to give you the whole box of chocolate. I'm not going to give you the whole tub of ice cream, even though you beg me for that. Okay? Even no matter how much you ask me for it and say you need it and say you want it and wish you had it, I'm not going to give it to you, because if I give it to you, you're only going to be in a worse position because I gave you all of that. All right. Does that make sense? So you can never listen to men when they ask you to stay forever, because what they're asking you is for dessert 24/7. And when you give them dessert 24/7, they only say, oh, now my stomach hurts. I need to throw up. Oh, I feel bad now. I feel horrible now. And now you're sitting here wondering, but I thought I gave you what you asked for. I gave you the peace and tranquility you were asking for by allowing myself to be here all the time, 24/7. I chose to not stress you out by, only being on 2-hour dates once a week. And I didn't want to listen to Tomisin because I thought you were asking me to see me every day. So I said, F what Tomisin says. I'm going to be with you every day, 24/7. I'm going to sleep in your bed, be in your skin, and go to work with you. And now that I've actually done what you asked me to do, you're sick of me and you don't want to spend your time with me anymore. So maybe I should have listened to Tomisin, because when he was telling me go on 1 date a week for only 2 hours and cut it off after that, no matter how much fun I'm having, maybe you would have still been wanting to date me now instead of wanting to, get rid of me now. Does that make sense? Okay. Right. Someone says a guy did this to me. It happens a lot, and we're gonna have a show this week specifically about how to pace guys in a dating stage and in a talking stage, so that they continue to increase their feelings for you and they don't lose interest in you. Because that's the worst thing you want. You don't want guys losing interest in you, and you don't want guys who had interest in you all of a sudden not having interest in you because you're listening to the wrong things that they're saying. Because a lot of times guys can even mislead you by telling you that they want something. When you give it to them, it doesn't work out the way that you thought it would work out. Okay. So number one is anxiety is good. Number two is the texting stress. Number three, when they ask you to stay forever. Now, number four is kind of similar to the stay forever. Number four is the availability paradox. Okay, the reason I call it an availability paradox, okay, stay with me, is simply because guys will ask you to be more available to them when they need you or want you there. However, when you actually become more available to them whenever they need or want you there, they only end up not caring about you enough to think of you or plan with you, seeing you more often, or actually like organizing a day with you. So let me break that down a little bit more for you. You start thinking to yourself, right, when he describes to you, yo, I just, I love the fact that, if you could just pick up the phone when I call you at night, because I was just really sad. And I appreciate, like, when I call you and stuff like that, it's because I'm really upset. And if I call you, I want you to answer no matter what you're doing. This is the type of things they'll say. I really want a girl who will drop everything for me. I just want to ride or die, that no matter what I'm going through, no matter where I'm at in life, I can always rely on her to call her or text her or message her, no matter what time of day or night, and she'll pick up the phone. Because that's true loyalty to me. That's when I know that this person is my soulmate and my ride or die, that she'll pick up that phone at any time of the night. No matter what's going on, no matter who she's with, no matter where she's at, she'll pick up that phone when I need her. That's a real ride or die. You're a ride or die, aren't you? Baby, you a ride or die, ain't you? Tell me, baby, you down for me for whatever, ain't you? It's a mistake. It's a trap. Okay? Because the moment you listen to that and you're like, oh, sounds like my favorite teen drama. Sounds like everything I've ever watched on Disney Channel. Sounds like what I was watching on Nickelodeon and in my favorite movies and on The Notebook and on Euphoria. So maybe if I'm available to you at all times of the night, I'll be able to prove to you that I'm so loyal and such a ride or die that you can rely on me for anything. So then you know what happens. Instead of him using that and actually, building with you and taking care of your relationship, you know what he does when he realizes you actually are taking that to heart? He then goes out to the club. It's 7 p.m. Friday, 95 degrees. I ain't got ain't got me. And it's funny because he's dancing to that song while he's chugging a bottle of 1942 in the booth with his boys, right? And he's grinding on a girl. Oh yeah, 7 p.m. Friday, 95 degrees. Rihanna's playing work, 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 work. You see me having work. He's going like this. He's leaning back on the chair. His boy's holding him up, right? As he's catching the twerk. You know what I mean? His boy's holding him up. He's like, damn, I didn't know she had it like this, boy. And then you know what? After that, right? After he finishes chugging that 1942, okay, he steps out of that club, right? Plaster, right? His one eye is going this way, one eye is going the other way. And he calls you up and he said, oh, I need to see you right now, shorty. What you saying? I just finished at a club and I'm trying to pull up on you. What you saying? Like, yeah, you sleep? Yo, why you playing with me like that? Yo, you ain't sleep. Yo, get your ass up, girl. What you saying? You sleep. I'm trying to pull up on you right now. What you saying? Nah, I'm gonna pull up on you. Why you playing with me? Nah, you think you too cool for me now? You think you cool? You think you a superstar now? You can't talk to me no more like that. Nah, I'm finna pull up on you, girl. Yeah, I'm pulling up on you. I'm finna do that thing. I know you like that thing when I suck on them toes, girl. I'm finna pull up on you, do that thing to you that you like. Yeah, I'm gonna be there. Yeah, what's the bus code? I forgot the bus code. Okay, I'm gonna be there. I'm calling the Uber right now. Yeah. I'm calling the Uber right now, girl. And then what happens is he only ends up talking to you whenever he needs you. Okay. And when I say needs you, I just mean in that moment where he wants to speak to you, that's when he ends up reaching out to you. But he doesn't end up calling you that same way on a Tuesday afternoon to say, hey, I would love to see you later this week. Can we plan a dinner date or something? When are you free? And it's funny because the reason I call it the availability paradox is because the more available you are to that guy, right, the less he actually takes your availability seriously. And so you end up getting put on the back burner simply for prioritizing him and dropping everything for him. So as you become more available, you actually simultaneously become less of a priority. Sounds strange. But ironically, when you're less available, you're actually more of a priority. Because when he realizes that I can't call her up at 4 a.m. on a Saturday night after I finish at the club and she'll answer and I'll pull up on her, he realizes that the only way to get access to you is to actually plan or schedule his time with you and message you or call you during the day, during actual hours, not demon time. All right. And the fact that he realizes you're not going to be available to him whenever he just wants to call you and expect you to pick up, he actually then in turn prioritizes the fact that, hey, I got to make sure that if I want to see her, that I'm putting my best foot forward in order to be able to see her. That the fact that she's not going to be available all the time actually means that I'm going to have to prioritize her higher on my list in order to get access to her. Are you following what I'm saying? Okay. And so it's very important that you don't fall for the availability paradox, because it's another one of the things that even when guys like you, they will try to convince you that this is how you should do it because this is how he'll like you more. And this is why I want to have this conversation with all of you today, because even aside from the guys who are just readily trying to play you and trick you and deceive you and all that stuff, even when guys like you, they will ask of you these things, and you'll be thinking, when you're asking me this and you like me and you want me and I want you to like me and I want our relationship to go well, you're thinking, okay, so then I should just do that. And when I do that, you'll like me more. But when you do that, he ends up liking you less, because guys will never see like I say, what I want you to take from the show is that guys are always going to be, when they're dating you, asking you for peace in a way that serves him, where he can receive without having to give as much. That is good, which is exactly why he'll ask you for that and say he would like that, right? And he'll even wrap that in the idea and the concept of, oh, when I receive that from you, I'll like you more for receiving that, because that's what I want. Why? Because that's what benefits me. But what I want you to understand is never to listen to when men are asking you to do that. Never. Never. In fact, I want you to understand, majority of the time, doing the opposite will actually yield you the result that you're looking for, which is for a guy to give you princess treatment, take you seriously, and prioritize you. Because the reality of it is, when you're always available to him to call or text at any time of the night, you might be thinking, oh, well, this is the ride or die that he was talking about and the way he wants to be treated in a relationship and the type of girl he wants in a relationship. But in reality, when you give him that ride or die treatment, he only ends up calling you at 4 a.m. or at 3 a.m. or at 2 a.m. Okay, so you really don't get very much good treatment in return for being a ride or die. Do you understand what I'm saying? So don't fall for the availability paradox. It's another one of those tricks. Men will say, I want peace by you being available to me at any time whenever I call you, text you, or need you. And when you do that, you end up not getting his respect or being a priority in his life. Don't fall for the trick. So, number one, anxiety is good. Number two, texting, stress. Number three, the stay forever mistake. Number four is the availability paradox. And number five is that yes means less. Another one of the things that guys in a holistic concept are going to try to convince you of, right? In terms of getting peace, saying yes is the best thing you can do, because it's the most peaceful when you're the most agreeable. When you don't really have too many boundaries, when you don't really have too many expectations, when you don't call me out or on anything, when you don't hold me accountable for anything, you're just like one of the guys where we can just chill. Okay, have you ever heard a guy say that? I wish I had a girlfriend that was like one of the guys, because I like to just be able to chill. Me and the guys, we don't really have to talk about too much. We can just sit there and relax and chill and not have to worry. We can just watch the game and just be quiet. We can just, toss around a football, just be quiet. We can just play video games and just be quiet. Yo, peace is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a girlfriend and a wife that's like one of the boys, where it's all just peace and relaxation, and I don't ever have to be anxious or worried about or stressed out about anything. And so you're thinking, if I just say yes to more things, and I stay quiet about everything else, right? And I be like a yes girl, that's going to make him like me more. That's going to bring him more peace. In reality, though, remember how we talked about in the very beginning how anxiety is good, and anxiety will actually yield the best result for you. When you tell guys no, and they have real interest in you, what ends up happening is they think, okay, well, now let me put my best foot forward with you in our relationship so that I can turn that no into a yes. And so that is why this point is titled, Yes Ends Up Meaning Less. Because when you say yes to everything, he doesn't end up taking you seriously or thinking that he needs to put his best foot forward in the relationship. And like I always tell you guys, what you're seeking in your relationships with men is emotional investment. You want the guys that you're dating to be highly, highly, highly emotionally invested in you. Some people talk about all different types of investment. The investment I focus on is emotional and spiritual. And as guys are doing more for you, right? Doing more tasks for you, committing themselves to you, being consistent to you, showing up for you, doing things for you, right? All of those things, that is emotional and spiritual investment into another human being, okay? And that is exactly what you're looking for out of any guy that you're going to be dating. So when it comes to saying yes, you can't be of the mindset that, hey, if I say yes to everything, it's going to make me so peaceful and easy to get along with and so likable that then he'll want me more. Because when you say yes to everything, he'll start thinking in his mind, well, yeah, there's less stress here, but I also don't need to do that much in order to keep her happy. I also don't need to put my best foot forward in order to do good in this relationship. I should relax and be in a state where I have to do nothing and I can just give her the absolute bare minimum and continue to expect her to like me and treat me like a prince and do all these things for me, okay? And in reality, when guys have the anxiety of, oh, she said no, what do I have to do now? Or, oh, she said no, I still got to put my best foot forward. Or, oh, she, is not happy, so what do I have to do to solve this? That anxious state, that frustration state, that not peaceful state that the guys are referring to actually yields you the result you're looking for, where you actually get guys who will step up to the plate for you and try better, try harder, and put their best foot forward in the relationship, okay? And it's challenging, but at the end of the day, when guys step up to the plate and actually are able to accomplish those challenges, that is emotional investment, right? And you're increasing the level of emotional investment he has in you in this relationship, okay? Sin says, why are we so gullible? It's okay. We all learn, and it can become very confusing. I know, okay? Because when guys are asking for these things and you're thinking, well, if I like you and you're asking for these things, I should give them to you because that's communication, right? Sometimes you have to realize, well, a lot of times, guys don't really understand what it is that they actually want, simply because they don't realize how when they get what they're asking for, they don't end up responding in the way that's actually good for you, if that makes any sense. So they're not good at being able to describe to you what they want in the sense of how will you get the best response out of me. Are you following what I'm saying? They only know how to tell you what they want in the sense of what serves me the most, but doesn't necessarily serve you. Are you following what I'm saying? Because most people, guys, aren't going to go on dates and say, please stress me out. Don't text me all the time. Don't talk to me 24/7 so that I can continue desiring you and wanting you more. Guys aren't going to come on dates and saying, hey, make sure you don't allow me to sleep with you on the first night so that I can continue respecting you and building my desire for you and continue being focused on building this relationship. Of course, they're not going to say that because it doesn't really serve them, right? Or it doesn't feel like it serves them because they're like, well, if I can get something easier, why would I ask my partner or the person I'm talking to make it harder for me? But they don't realize that when you do make it easy for them, as they're asking you to do, they end up responding to you in a way where they no longer have the level of interest in you required to continue building this relationship. Are you following what I'm saying? So you, unfortunately, and this is kind of like what the show boils down to in these 5 points, what you have to start realizing is when the men that you're dating are asking you for things that ease their anxiety, give them less stress, majority of the time, what they're asking you for is to make their life easier and give them more so that they can no longer have to be on the offensive, have anxiety, and be pursuing. But by the time you give them that and they stop pursuing, you're going to end up unhappy. So the best thing for you to do in that scenario is to understand, despite what you're saying and what you're asking for, sure, we'll just say, cool, yeah, I'll do more of that. But you continue being you. Right? You continue pacing the relationship. You continue not texting him as much as he's asking for, not showing up 24/7, not being available all the time. He can say he's frustrated till he's blue in the face. But at the end of the day, he will continue being on the offensive because that frustration of not being able to talk to you or see you all the time or message you all the time can only come from the fact that he wants to see and hear from you more. So as long as he's continuously frustrated that he's not seeing or hearing from you as much as he wants to see you or hear from you, that means he has a hunger and desire for you required to continue pursuing you in this relationship. And if he stops having that level of hunger and desire for you in this relationship, right, then he will no longer be pursuing you, which is not what you want. Okay, so do you guys have any questions about the 5 we just discussed? Anxiety is good, number 1. Texting stress, number 2. Staying forever, number 3. Availability paradox, number 4. And yes means less, number 5. Okay, right? Does that make sense to all of you guys? Have any questions? Amira says, so stressing him doesn't mean more arguments. Yes. Okay. Excuse me. Let me be very clear to you guys, because I see some, even actually we watched a video yesterday that was about getting in guys' heads. Okay. Now, specifically when I talk about stressing him, I don't want you to think that stressing him is just going out and trying to purposely cause chaos just for the sake of it being chaos. But you have to understand, when you have your own life and your own things going for you, it will naturally stress guys out that like you. And it will stress them out, that the guys out that like you, because they're always going to kind of want to zap more of your time, right? And take more of your energy. Not in a bad way, but when they like you, they want to spend more time with you, right? They want to spend more and more time with you. They want to see you more. They're so excited. They're like happy little dogs. And they're like kids that they want all of their dessert at once. And every time you pace them, every time you say no to them, every time you make it a little bit challenging for them to get more access to you, that's going to be frustrating and painful for them. And you have to understand that that can create that stress. They'll start to communicate that stress to you, and you'll start thinking, well, damn, maybe I should ease your anxiety and ease that stress by doing the things that you're asking for. But that is where the mistake comes in. So you're not stressing him out just by saying, oh, I'm going to start arguments with you. Posh says, so no arguments then? No, you're not just trying to start arguments with guys randomly. What you're doing is you're living your life, having your own things for you that you spend your time doing. And in the process of that, you're not going to be available to him 24/7, which is good. You're not going to be texting him all the time because you have other things to do other than sit around and text him, which is good. You're not going to be, saying yes to everything because you're also concerned about what works for you, and you're also concerned about your boundaries, and you're also concerned about what your happiness is, right? And you're going to understand all of these key important things, and in the process of standing on those things and not folding simply because he says text me more, be more available to me, be a ride or die, I want to see you 24/7, you will end up stressing him out because of that. I just want you to understand, don't get your feathers in a bunch, right? And don't get fuzzled because you're worried when he's saying, oh, I'm stressed out, or you're giving me anxiety, that you think, oh, I got to ease this anxiety now. Okay. But I'm not talking about stress in the sense of just causing chaos and starting arguments. That's not the stress that I'm referring to. Okay. I'm glad that you mentioned that, because I should have even been more clear about that at the very beginning. Let's go to some of these donations that we got in the YouTube chat here. And also a shout out to Stephanie in the TikTok chat, who donated some coins there. So let's go to NW, who says, damn, Tomisin, you speak in volumes, and donates $2. Thank you, NW. I appreciate that. Annie donates $5 in the YouTube chat. She says, so the way we make him feel when he's with us is the key, because that hunger can't be sustained with us not being too available. And incredible gal. Well, so here's the thing. The hunger can be sustained. This is so perfect. This is exactly why we need to have a whole show on how to pace guys in a relationship in a way that keeps him interested, but you don't make the mistake of making him feel like, there's nothing there in this relationship for him. Because there's a balance to that. So it's not all or nothing. You're not going to show him no interest, that to the point where he thinks he's actually, not getting anywhere with you in this situation, in this relationship or talking stage. But you also want to keep him on the fence, where he constantly feels like he needs to be on his toes, leaning forward, pursuing you, instead of relaxing, receiving all of this from you, right? So that is something, Annie, to answer your question, that you're going to make him feel continuously all the time. Even when you're in a relationship with the guy, you still have to be strategic about giving him breaks from you. And we talked about this yesterday as well. And giving guys breaks from you is so important. I don't care if you're dating him. I don't care if you've been boyfriend and girlfriend for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. I don't care if you're married and living together with children. You still have to be strategic about giving men a break from you, not because you're a bad person, not because you're horrible or he doesn't want to see you or anything like that, simply because you need to allow him to miss you so that he can anticipate seeing you again. And I gave you guys this analogy yesterday with the dog, and how the most excited your dog is when you're coming back after being out of the house for a little bit, right? And when you're out of the house, your dog's like, oh my God, my owner's gone. What do I do? Where do I go? What is my life? I don't know what to do with my life. And they just sit around scrambling around, and their life is like on pause. But when you walk back in that door again, they're so excited. Their tail is wagging. They're barking. Some dogs, they start shaking and shivering because there's so much excitement pouring through their veins, right? And they're like, for those first 5 minutes that you walk into that door again, they're the most excited that they've ever been since the last time that you walked through that door. But after, 15, 20 minutes, an hour, they're on the couch just kind of chilling with you, and that excitement kind of wears down, and it ramps back up again when you leave the house. Now, obviously, every time that you leave the house, you're not trying to give your dog anxiety. You just have a life, right? Like, you can't sit in the house with your dog all day long, no matter how much you love your dog, because the only way there's going to be a roof over your head with your dog is if you go out to work. So you got to go out to work. You got to have a life. You got to do other things other than be with your dog. So I say that to say it's the same concept and idea with the guys that you date, right? Even when you're married to them, even when you're in a relationship with them, you still need to give them a break for you so that you can have that moment of walking back through the door and their tails wagging and they're shaking with excitement and they're so happy to see you. And that happens on a consistent basis, not because you're just trying to cause chaos, but because you're going to have a life other than just your dog or other than just your husband or your boyfriend. Like, that's not an unnatural thing to happen. Even if you're married, right? You're meant to have a life outside of your partner, and that's good. That is what takes you away from your partner for periods of time. That way, when you come back to your partner can be excited to see you again. And that process can continue recycling itself, where you're never in a position where every day just feels like the same day crumpled up together. And there's never any space from each other for him to say, oh, wow, I really miss her and I'm anticipating seeing her again, right? Because your dog is never going to be shaking and shivering and wagging his tail if you're always there 24/7. Your dog can only do that when you've been gone for a period of time. Unfortunately, that's just how it works. So take that kind of analogy and understand that guys are the same way. Very, very similar. Okay. Sweet says, my ex didn't like when I had a life without him. It's one of those things as well. Like I mentioned, guys will say it frustrates them because, you know, for them, they're thinking, hey, I would rather you be with me all the time, 24/7, and I can just carry you in my pocket to work and you'll be with me everywhere that I go. But in reality, when you actually give them that, they'll immediately start saying, yeah, so you want to like go do something where you're not here with me? Or is that not like maybe you could step out of the house, or maybe I could go do something else and I'm just not with you though, right? And when you start getting that type of energy from him, it's going downhill fast. You never want to overstay your welcome where the guys that you're with are saying, yeah, maybe we do something on our own this time. Right? You want to be the one saying, yeah, I got to go do a thing. I got to be here. I got to be there, and allow the guys in your life that you're dating to say, oh, I want to spend more time with you. I want to be with you more. I want to see you more. Keep them hungry. Keep them hungry. I'm telling you, you will be a more happy woman. And this is why I give you guys this advice, right? Because it's not meant to hurt your feelings. I just know you'll be the happiest in your relationship when your guy is the hungriest. Unfortunately, when your guy is the most satiated with how much time he's spending with you, that's usually when you will be feeling like you're getting the least amount of princess treatment, right? Keeping your guy hungry is very important to the health of your relationship. At least I think, in my estimation, based on understanding guys and how I know guys to be. When they're the hungriest for you, when they have the deep desire for you, that's when you get the best treatment out of them. When they're kind of like, you're here all the time, it's not a big deal, that's usually when you start getting a lot of that neglect from them. Does that make sense? Right? Someone says, how do you do that in a talking stage? Well, it's the same concept. It just you just adjust it for whatever stage that you're in. So actually maybe we'll do it in tomorrow's show. In tomorrow's show, we'll talk about we'll break down how to pace guys in a relationship specifically for each and every stage so that you can understand how to go from talking to being in a marriage and like what it should look like and the concepts behind that. Okay. Does that make sense? All right. Someone says, what should I do? They are jealous about my clothes. Okay, that's actually a perfect segue into our reaction segment, okay? So, it's time, okay? We're going to hop right into our react segment of the day. Spam up your camera emoji, spam up your headphone emoji, spam up your baby oil emojis because we're going to be recording this big time, all right? Let's hop into our reaction section of the day. And we'll actually go ahead and do, because I had them in a specific order, but we'll go ahead and do that one first since someone asked a question about that. So we might as well just do that one, all right? Headphone emojis in the chat, camera emojis in the chat. Time for us to react to some TikTok videos going on around the internet, okay? So this should be very interesting. Let's hop into it right here, all right? And let's go into our first video. I'm going to skip. We'll go back to the other ones, but let's do the one that had to do with clothes and outfits, okay? So let me see if I can find this one. Let me just refresh my page here. Okay, let's see if I can get to this one here. Oh, that's me. That's me. That's not what we're trying to watch. We're not trying to watch more of me. I'm already here. Okay, so let me go ahead and... So we're going to play a video beforehand, and then we're going to get to the one about clothes. Okay, so we're going to play here. Where did we end off yesterday? So I think we ended off on Nico, right? Yeah, we ended off on Nico. So let's start here.
Oh, you're doing too much. You're overthinking it. It's not that serious. You're always making a big deal out of nothing. You just overthinking it. It's not what you think it is. You're making a big, I don't understand where you coming from with this. You need to chill. You need to relax. You need to leave them. You need to move on. That's what you need to do. Why? Because they don't like you. They may be in love with you. They may want to be with you, but they don't like you. Because if they like you, whatever you're feeling, whatever emotions you're dealing with would matter to them. It would matter to them. They would take it at the highest level of importance, regardless if it makes sense to them, if they understand it, if they can comprehend your emotions or not. Why? Because they genuinely like you. You need to drop them. Oh, you're doing too much. You're overthinking it. It's not that serious. You're always making a big deal out of nothing. You just overthinking it. It's not what you think it is. You're making a big, I don't understand where you coming from with this. You need to chill. You need to relax. You need to leave them. You need to move on. That's what you need to do. Why? Because they don't like you. They may be in love with you. They may want to be with you, but they don't like you. Because if they like you, whatever you're feeling, whatever emotions you're dealing with would matter to them. It would matter to.
So I actually like what he says here. See, me, I'm part of the society. It's always that deep. Other people, they might not subscribe to that theory or whatever. I'm a very deep thinker. So anytime something happens, someone says something to me, I have a situation with someone, I'm always thinking it's deep. Okay. And I'm always breaking it down into the micro segments and microcosms of the bigger issue and all this stuff. And, you know, people will tell me all the time, it's not that deep. I'm not that type of person because I take my life seriously and I think you should as well. So anytime you feel wronged or anytime you feel like, hey, this relationship isn't looking like what I want it to look like, or this isn't going how I expect it to go. A lot of people that want to use you and manipulate you will tell you it's not that deep as a way of making you feel bad for actually caring. Okay, caring about your time, caring about where you're spending your time and how you're spending your time, caring about what you're getting back in return for your time and investment. People will tell you it's not that deep as a way of making you docile to the fact that you're probably wasting a lot of your time or investing it in the wrong places. Because if you convince yourself that it's not that deep, then as you waste your time with me, especially if it's not that deep in terms of me and our relationship, when you're wasting your time with me, hopefully I can convince you that everything is not that big a deal and it's not that deep, that you can continue wasting your time with me and I can prolong the process of you realizing that this is all just a big waste of your time. So anytime I just advise you, anytime in response to your feelings or your expression or what you care about or what's important to you, someone responds to you that it's not that deep, I advise you to just distance yourself from that person, because at that point you have to realize someone trying to convince you that your feelings are not that deep is really not invested in your happiness, truthfully and honestly. Okay, so don't even waste your time with them. I want to go to the video. I found it. It was just had a different front things here. So it came from here, this creator here. So I don't know if this real or fake, because you know it's TikTok, so some people be staging stuff. But apparently this guy came and egged her because she went out in an outfit that he didn't like. Okay.
Stay away from men that would dare to try to teach you a lesson. You are a grown woman. You don't need a man sneaking up on you, finding your location, and egging you for daring to wear something that he did not approve of. You are not a small child that needs to be taught a lesson. You are not a teenage girl sneaking out of your parents' house. See this as the toxic red flag that it is. A man that would attempt to embarrass you or humiliate you for not listening to them. It starts with little things like this, telling you how to dress, how you could wear your hair, what kind of makeup you should be wearing, what kind of friends you can have, how much contact you have with your family. Then they try to isolate you. They try to get you away from everybody who would dare give you good advice. This is how abuse starts. It is not your man's job to punish you if you quote unquote disobey him. He is your partner and not your parent. This is how some men try to break a woman's spirit. They love the pretty bird when she's wild and free, but what they want to do is not to appreciate the beauty of that bird, but to cage the bird. And they do that by breaking your spirit little by little, taking away the things that made you you.
So I actually agree with this, and this is a topic that I actually want to be very clear on, because there is a balance here. Of course, as a guy, I'm going to explain to you from a guy's perspective. Of course, as a man, when you have a girl that you're invested in that you really like, you're naturally going to be protective over her. Meaning that, of course, if you really like your girl, it's going to feel unnatural to like want her to be open for the taking for anyone. Now, obviously, it doesn't mean just because you want to wear a specific type of dress or skirt or whatever that you're open for the taking for everyone. But there is a level of just natural protectiveness that guys go through when they really have real deep feelings for a girl. But there's a balance here, and there's a line that becomes too far. And what I mean by that is, even though someone is your partner, and you might say, yes, you know, I would love for maybe that fit that you're wearing makes me a little bit uncomfortable because, you know, this is showing and that is showing, right? And, you know, that if you're asking my opinion, that does make me uncomfortable. There's a balance there where still at the end of the day, as a woman, it's your choice whether you want to wear the thing or not. And so your partner does their job by communicating to you, yeah, you know, this makes me uncomfortable. I'll explain to you why it makes me uncomfortable and what sort of compromise we could come to that you could wear something that you still feel sexy and amazing and hot, because you still should be able to feel sexy and amazing and hot, but also doesn't make me feel uncomfortable as your partner. And there's a compromise to be had there. Now, what's not a compromise is you wearing the thing and then him egging you because you decided to wear the thing. Because at the end of the day, regardless of what you choose to wear, as your partner, it's still his job to acknowledge that you're an individual capable of making your own decisions for you. So if there's a fundamental disagreement as to you think you should be able to wear this thing and he doesn't like you wearing this thing, and then you choose to wear this thing, as soon as you make the choice that I'm going to wear this thing, he has to then say to himself, that is your choice. Even if we disagree on that decision, it's not, those aren't my clothes. That's not my body. I'm not you. So I might feel uncomfortable, but unfortunately, I'm just going to have to get over it if I still want to be in this relationship. Because what I can't do is force you to change. And what I can't do, what I'm not supposed to do, is go and find you where you're at and egg you or shame you because you won't change. Are you following what I'm saying? So, and in relationships, that's kind of the thing, I should say, that is the thing that mature people learn and understand. Yes, there's compromise, discussion, and me and my partner are going to try to work together so everyone can be happy. But there will be certain decisions and things that are done as it relates to each of our individual lives that I might not necessarily agree with everything that you choose to do. But does that mean that I stop loving you, stop caring about you, stop wanting the best for you because I might disagree with one or two things that you choose to do for you? No. Because you're a whole individual with your own perspective, way of thinking, and way of living life. It's not my job to convince you that you should want to live your life the way I want you to live your life. And you should have the freedom to be able to make your own choices because you're an adult capable of making your own choices. So I don't think that it's necessarily black or white. Just like with everything else in life, I think it's very gray. But I do think there's also a balance there where you compromise with your partner, but still, if your partner chooses to go out and do the thing, then, so for example, if I was advising this guy, like if I was talking to this guy and he was telling me, hey, bro, like, just like, bro, my girl's going to go out like that. I don't want her going out like that. So I egged her. Well, then if it really bothers you that much and there's such a extreme disagreement there and it's so important to you that she dresses a particular way, then you're probably better off breaking up with her and then going and finding a girl who dresses in the way that's in line with what works for you. Because it doesn't make sense to be with the girl and then shame her for dressing in a way that makes her happy. Because if it's that extreme of a difference where you can't even stomach the fact that she wears that thing, then you're probably better off being with someone else that's more aligned with you in a place that's a high top priority for you. And actually, the reason I'm explaining this to all of you is so you can start thinking to yourself, right? What are your own high priorities, right? Things that are really important to you. Because when you start thinking of the things of your own versions of things that are high priorities, you can start thinking, okay, what are the things that I'm not willing to compromise on, that just don't work for me, that I have to be of the same understanding with my man, because that's really important. Or else you get situations like this. This is very weird behavior by it's weak behavior. I think it's very weird behavior. Like that's weird as hell. Okay, let's go on to our next one here. Let's see. Where were we? Okay. We did that one. Okay, we're doing this one now.
Setting boundaries will make him fall in love with you. I'm going to tell you why, and at the end, I'm going to tell you how I learned to establish boundaries and how you can do it too. Setting boundaries in dating is not just about protecting yourself. It's kind of attractive. It's attractive because it shows you respect yourself and you know what you want. I've had trouble setting boundaries in relationships my entire life because I thought, you know what? Maybe if I just break this one little rule for this person, they'll like me more. What ends up happening is you bend one rule and then you bend another one and then another one until the point that this person just walks all over you and doesn't respect you. When you set boundaries, you're telling yourself and the world, hey, I respect my time, my needs, and myself. And there's nothing more attractive than someone who is confident in who they are, knows their worth, and won't bend the rules for anyone. If you value yourself and you see yourself at a high standard, everyone else will too. Here's how I started setting boundaries and how you can do the same. Number one, I understood what's acceptable and what's unacceptable. Two, I became okay with saying no and not really having to find a million excuses or having to let them down easy. Just, hey, no. And three, I understood that it's not my responsibility to sacrifice myself for others. It's simple. Boundaries create attraction. Boundaries make him fall in love with you and make him obsessed with you. And that's only one of the ways that I teach how to do that. I teach you how to make him fall in love with you, how to make him more obsessed with you, and how to not be manipulated in the process in my book. But as always, I have to warn you, some of the stuff in there borders on a little bit of the darker side of psychology, and the reason I do that is so that you can understand, you can see it, and prevent it from happening to you. So keeping that in mind, just please.
Okay, so I agree with everything that he said here. Setting boundaries is the number one way to go to get your respect and your fear. The two things that I want you to be focused on when you're dating men: respect, fear. Now, I'm not talking about fear of you hitting him across the face. I'm talking about the fear that if he doesn't act right or treat you right in this relationship, then you will gladly walk away from this relationship. Okay, that's good fear. And the respect, that you actually have respect for yourself, you see yourself as valuable, and you're not going to sit around waiting for him to eventually want you or desire you or want to be in a relationship with you. You don't have time for that. You have lots of things to do, and you're not going to sit around getting mistreated until a guy chooses to treat you right. Okay, it's so important that you're capable of setting boundaries, and you cannot ever go into a talking stage or a relationship and think to yourself, this guy is different. I know this is gonna sound really evil, really detached. You have to treat everyone the same. Even if you have to say that, I want you to say that, okay? Because sometimes when you're really strict, when you're like a drill sergeant, they'll be like, oh my God, you have so many rules and you have so many boundaries and you have so many this and that. Yeah. And I treat everyone the same. And it's good also to let guys see you treat everyone the same, right? Treat your friends with boundaries, have boundaries in with your coworkers, have boundaries with your family. And it's great. Because when people start to see that you treat everyone the same, even if you're a drill sergeant, at least they respect the fact that you're a drill sergeant with everyone. Because I promise you, being a drill sergeant with everyone and then being soft with the one person that you want to like you is only going to make it easy for that person to mistreat you. So what I want you to do, I want you to flip this on its head. As soon as you know you really like a guy, I want you to think to yourself, I'm going to set extra strong, extra hard boundaries for you, no diddy. Okay, extra strong and extra hard, no, without the baby oil. Okay, and I want you to actually think to yourself, now that I know that I like you, I'm going to make sure that you like me by setting very hard, very strong boundaries and treating you like I would treat any other person in my life and not giving you no special treatment. All right. No special treatment for even the guys that you like. That's how you get them to like you back.
Ladies, I'm going to clear this up. There is no strategy to get a man's interest. Either he likes you or he doesn't. You can't game the system, girl. That's a checkers move. You can't, oh, let me pull back a little bit. Let me not answer here. Let me not answer here. That's short-lived. He'll be pursuing you for what you have, but not for you. He has to like you. That's the wrong game you're playing. You need to be showing interest so you can get to the conclusion faster. You waste too much time playing these checker games. You can't be thinking about, oh, how do I get his interest for the next month? What? How do you get his interest for the next year and 2 and 3? And the way that works, if you're looking for a long-term relationship, is you start reciprocating interest to see if he even likes you like that. This whole game shit, that doesn't work with a thorough dude. It won't work with many dudes, but definitely not no thorough dude out here. Not the way he moves. He's just gonna let you be. Or he'll go after you till he gets what he wants, and when he gets what he wants, he's gonna leave you. You waste too much time with the game, ladies. Trust me, this game is not a game that the one that you've been sold, you don't want to keep playing that game. You end up wasting too much time. That's why you're hurt all the time. You're just so hurt because you've listened to a lot of people tell you how to play the game to get the guy. You can't play the game. You cannot play the system, or else the system will play your ass. You either opt into the game with open eyes, an open heart, and an open mind and say, you know what, let me start showing interest so I get to see real quick how interested this guy is in me. Because the more I play the game, he might chase for a little bit until he gets what he wants. Then he's skedaddling. And you will see this over and over again. Don't do that to you. Ladies, I'm going to clear this up.
Okay, so what Benny is missing here, Benny's actually missing. No, this is not. They look the same. Someone said, is this the Daddy Academy guy? It's not. This is a different guy. They look kind of similar. This guy's name is Benny. Okay. Daddy Academy, his name is Nico. Okay. They kind of look similar. They're different guys. So Benny here, I disagree with what he's saying. Benny is missing a very key, important element about men. Maybe he just forgot it or he's not realizing it when he's explaining this. Because a very key, important element of men is if you show them a lot of interest at the beginning, they will pull back the level in which they're giving you because men are hardwired a lot of times to do just what's necessary to get to where they want to go. So because men are the pursuers, because men are the ones going out and trying to get what they want, they're hunters. They're looking always, right? They're evolved to hunt with the least amount of energy expended, right? They're not going to, think about this, when men were cavemen, they're not going to evolve to expend the most amount of energy just to get the deer. Are you following what I'm saying? And because if they were thinking about how to expend the most energy to get the deer, they might literally, die of starvation trying to get to food. So I just say that to say it's the same idea with them when they're chasing after or pursuing women. And so they're trying to get the woman with the least amount of energy expended. Now, if more energy is required in order to get that specific woman and they really want that woman, then they will expend more energy. But if less energy is required to get that woman, then they will expend less energy. They're going to meet you wherever your requirement is at if they want you. And so here's the mistake that Benny's not putting into account here. When you show guys a lot of interest, they're going to realize that a function of you showing them a lot of interest means that subsequently you like them a lot and you want them a lot and you want this relationship a lot. So they're going to start thinking to themselves, well, that means I don't have to do as much in this relationship. So I can scale back how much I'm doing for her because I know she really wants this. And then what's that going to do? As soon as he does that, that's going to trigger your anxiety. You're going to say, oh my God, you're pulling back away from me. I need to do more. And as you do more, he does less and your anxiety triggers. And now you're in this vicious snowball effect going downhill where you're doing all the pursuing and he's pulling away from you, literally giving you just little breadcrumbs every now and again to keep you there. And so Benny is kind of leading you astray and he's leading you down a dark path because you're going to think, oh, I got to show him interest in order to know if he's interested. That's actually the worst thing you can do. In order to gauge a man's interest, what you need to do is do nothing. Because when you do nothing, I'm not saying ignore him. And I'm not saying show him absolutely no interest and make him think that you don't like him. That's not what I'm saying. That's stupidness. What I'm talking about is you got to do nothing and only reciprocate the energy that he's giving you, right? To a certain extent, and allow him to pursue you as much as he wants to pursue you. Okay. And you're going to pace him along the way. And you just keep him in that cycle of him pursuing you. You pace him and allow him to get just enough of the dessert or enough access to you that, you know, keeps him satisfied, keeps him interested in continuing to pursue you. That's what you do. Not showing him a whole bunch of interest thinking that that's going to save you. That won't save you. That'll only make you a pick-me-sha. Okay, when you do nothing, and a strategic type of nothing, that's when you can actually sit back and gauge what a guy's level of real interest is in you. Not fake interest, not love bombing. Because see, when you sit back, you do nothing, love bombing becomes more obvious. And also, you get rid of guys who are just trying to sleep with you faster. Because remember, guys are trying to expend little energy for maximum result. So if you're not giving them a lot in return, they're going to start feeling like, I'm not going to sleep with her on night 1 or night 2. So I'm just going to stop wasting my time because I want a girl who I can sleep with on night 1 or night 2, not a girl who I have to build with for months. Okay. So Benny is wrong here, I think. Okay.
Things men will never tell women, but are very obvious. The biggest fear of a man who's used to getting what he wants is a woman that he can't mold from the ground up. A woman with a backbone and a woman that asks why. He's used to going in subconsciously. He's not prepared for a why. He's more prepared for a no. A man who already feels entitled also feels as if he has such an adequate amount of power that he doesn't feel the need to prep himself for a why to even be asked. He just expected you to have it done, right? When you ask a man who expected something from you why, you are now challenging his ego. Something that has most likely never happened before. Nobody asked for reasoning, and it cuts deeper because he can maneuver around a no. I'm gonna tell you this, he's more prepared for rejection than he is for an explanation. He can do no easy, he can do silent treatment, he could just pick out one of your many triggers to get under your skin. He could flip a no to a yes because that's what the majority of his preparation consisted of. Literally one of the most lethal words, one of the worst things you could say to a man that takes you for granted, that's used to you bending over backwards for him is why. A lot of them will lose mind. Because in a lot of cases, he doesn't even know why. All he knows is that whenever he makes the demand, you say how high. He's not used to being questioned unless he's improvised. And as soon as you ask him why, that's when you start hearing him stumble over words. He's going to get angry. He's going to get upset. He's going to make you feel as if you're lesser. He's going to make you feel as if you're inferior. He's going to pull out every single microscopic stop to gaslight you and make you feel like you're crazy for not living up to his insane ass demands. Because the worst enemy to a man that's used to having women wrapped around his finger is a woman with a backbone. See, the only type of man that would ever be intimidated by a woman that he made a promise to always be in the best interests of is a man who lacks ambition himself. He'll be sure that all of your goals will only ever be his goals, and he'll only let you get as far as he allows you to. In his world, you can never be greater than him.
So I actually think even deeper than asking the guy why, you should start asking yourself why. And what I mean by that is you should start getting good at having an internal dialogue with yourself constantly when you're dating guys and asking yourself, does what is going on in this relationship actually make sense? Like, are we actually going somewhere, or is he trying to pull the wool over my eyes by convincing me of something that's really not true? Am I even getting what I want? If I'm not getting what I want, or I'm not getting what I'm looking for, or this isn't going somewhere long term, why am I here? If he's not showing me the character traits that I'm looking for, why am I spending my time with this guy? I have some of you, you guys love to ask me, private questions are becoming really popular. So you guys love to go deep in your bag in the private questions. And I won't say who it is. Obviously, I'll keep it anonymous. But I had a private question the other day that essentially was someone telling me about a situation they were in with a guy. And the situation she was in with this guy, she was saying, how can I get him to start taking our relationship seriously? And that was her question to the entire thing that she sent. But throughout the other 2.5 paragraphs that she sent, she basically essentially told me, yeah, he's dishonest. He lies to me a lot. There's a lot of deception. If I were to take this relationship seriously, he would definitely cheat on me or have a girl on the side. He does this and he does that. And so she went on and on and on about all the reasons he's not even the type of man she's looking to be in a relationship with. But then her question was, how can I get him to take this relationship seriously? Even if he took this relationship seriously, you're still mentioning all the character traits that he has that aren't the type of character traits you want in a guy you're dating. So the question is, why are you spending your time in a situation with a guy that isn't even in line with what you're looking for out of a relationship? And sometimes it requires you to start asking yourself why, to understand, well, why am I even here? Why am I doing this? Why am I looking for the approval or the validation of a guy who doesn't even show me that he's what I'm looking for? And sometimes you can get so wrapped up in and lost in the concept and idea that, oh my God, he's not treating me well and he's not showing me that he really likes me or wants me. How can I get him to like me? That you forget to yourself, well, is he even what I'm looking for? And then you just spend so much time thinking about what he wants, not realizing he's not even what you're looking for, right? So you got to start asking yourself why. Let's see if we got, I want to make sure that we get to some of these, because there were some there was one that was, yeah, I guess we go with the next one. We go with the next one.
Okay, did y'all see that video of that lady saying that there's no prison husbands, there's only prison wives? So I looked up prison husband just to check, and this is what I got.
Who sent this to me? What is this? Where's this going?
Prison husbands, there's only prison wives. So I looked up prison husband just to check, and this is what I got. And the lady was right. Men have standards, and women don't mind being humiliated. Because have you ever seen the TikToks where the woman gets sick and the man stays? And you look at the comment section like, oh, what a good man, can't believe he stayed, etc., etc. But it's like guaranteed that a woman will stay when her man gets sick. Like, men cheat when they're left alone for too long. For example, I remember when Gabrielle Union said that Dwayne Wade cheated because she was working too much. It was her fault that he cheated. And don't even get me started on the cheating. Majority of men will not stay if you cheat. I'm sorry, they find it absolutely gross that you cheated on them with someone else. While a lot of women tend to forgive, tend to stay, and deal with the fact that they once were cheated on. And some people would say, oh, women are just more tough, they're more forgiving. And I'm just going to say sometimes more dumb. Because if you really think a man is going to stay with you and you have a life sentence, a man is going to make a to-go bag to see you, wild. And it'd just be embarrassing seeing people be like, prison bae, I'm going to go see him. Because guaranteed if roles were reversed, he would be cheating on you. And he may keep you, but he would be cheating on you. Okay, did y'all see that video?
Why did you guys send this to me? I don't understand. I mean, I guess more women will stay with their prison boyfriend than guys will stay with their prison girlfriend. But any relationship where your man has a life sentence or your partner has a life sentence is tough. So I wouldn't want to speak on what someone would or wouldn't do when their partner has a life sentence, because that's essentially like your partner dying, but they're just still alive. So that's a really tough situation with a lot of pressure and circumstances that most people would never be able to speak on what they would or wouldn't do, because only when you're in that situation will you really know like what you would or wouldn't do. Not to say like it's just one of those things where it's so unique and such a pressure-packed type of situation. You can't say, oh, those people are bad people because they wouldn't stay with their partner and other people would and da-da-da, because realistically, none of us know what we would do if tomorrow our partner got put in a life sentence. We could all say, yeah, I'm going to stay with my partner forever and be with them forever and we'll ride or die to the end. That's great for the first 6 months. But what about 6 years? What about 16 years? What about 2 decades of your life and you're still visiting your partner in jail? That's tough for any human being. So I'm not sure why she's saying this as if it's specific to one type of individual or not. I just think that that's tough regardless of who you are. Okay. Let's go to our next one.
If you get jealous of the existence of another drop dead gorgeous woman that enters the room and your man looks at her, observes her beauty, her presence, takes it all in, and you catch him staring at her, and you lose your shit, and you become jealous, and you cannot control your temper, do you know what you're doing? You're revealing your own insecurities to him on a silver tray. It makes you look needy, it makes you attached, it makes you look deeply dependent on the outcome of your relationship with him. Because let me ask you this, why do you care. You should be so busy focusing on yourself, fixing your lipstick in the mirror, checking yourself out, taking photos of yourself, that you don't even notice another woman walking into the room. If you call your man out for looking at her, you make the other woman that you're threatened by and deeply insecure about 10 times more interesting. Men are biologically and psychologically drawn to things that mentally stimulate them. That's why they like to compete. That's why they compete over money, sports, cars, women. You are the woman on his side, so therefore you mentally stimulate him. You are the challenge. You are the prize. You are the woman on a pedestal. If you now call out another woman's presence, beauty, or whatever it is that you're jealous about, you lower yourself from the pedestal. And you raise the other woman's importance. Because all you men can think about is why you are so triggered by her. Why is it that you have to call it out that you are so jealous and insecure? Clearly, this woman who just entered the room must have something that my woman does not have. All of a sudden, you lost your spot on the pedestal and now you're competing with another woman that has nothing to do with your man over your man. You joined the fangirls. You look like a fool and you're giving your power away. If you
This is actually so smart. And I actually never got a chance to really discuss this in depth. We should do a whole show about this. This is a mistake that some of you are making. And I want to be very clear. This is not the same as talking about an ex, because some of you hear this and you start thinking to yourself, oh, if I talk about his ex, that's giving her power. No. When you talk about the ex, you're using this to gather information, okay? And you're not talking about the ex from an emotional standpoint. You're just trying to understand, what was this experience with your ex like for you? Not, oh my God, show me a picture of her. I'm so jealous that your ex has blonde hair and blue eyes and she's got a huge dump truck and I don't have that, right? That's not the type of talk about the ex I'm discussing. When you talk about the ex, you're asking that to understand what he went through, what transpired, where they are now, and understanding why it didn't work out, right? You're using that to gather information about him, who he is, and what he's likely to do in your situation with him. But you're not getting emotional or upset about that. Now, when it comes to the girls that he's currently either seeing, dating, for some of you might be dating guys who are dating other people, or, guys, or when you go out with a guy and he's looking at other girls, you have to always think of yourself as queen bee. And what she's talking about here is very similar. You, the queen, does not address the peasants. Why? Because the queen has so much other important stuff going on. She is self-absorbed and self-obsessed. She cannot be bothered by what is going on with the peasants. And you actually shine a very important spotlight on women, especially strangers, when you start complaining about, oh, I saw you looking at her butt, or I saw you staring at her, or I saw you talking to this girl, I saw you talking to that girl. You like her more than me? You think she's got a big dump truck and I don't have a dump truck as big as her? Sorry, I'm not blonde like all the girls you follow on Instagram. Sorry, I'm not blonde like Stacy that you follow on Instagram, like Ashley that you follow on Instagram. I'm not blonde like Sophie. I don't have a dump truck like Janice. I don't like. And when you start doing that, you zap all your power away and you give it away to each one of these individual girls. I don't know if you've ever, it's the same reason why if you've ever been in a situation where the more you talk about one particular person, because sometimes you get into a relationship or a talking stage with the guy and one particular girl becomes an issue. And then you end up talking about her on a reoccurring basis all the time. And the more you talk about her, it's like the more she pops up, or she's here, or she's there, or you see her here, or your man sees her here, or runs into her. And it's like all the time you're talking about her, you're feeding more energy into her, and then all these situations happen, and it's like she almost becomes a part of your relationship, right? Because you're actually giving energetical power away, taken away from yourself, and you're pouring it into her every time you put thoughts, power, and words, and you're just talking about her, speaking about her in your relationship, and your relationship becomes about her. So it's different with the next, because the next you're just gathering information. But when you start speaking on other women that he's dealing with, you're shining so much light on them that you actually take away power away from yourself. And you don't want to be doing that, okay? You don't want guys to know that you're jealous of other women that he's giving attention to. And X is an X for a reason. So even when he speaks about the X, you're looking at it from a standpoint of this is information of what not to do. I'm not jealous of the information you're giving me because clearly that relationship is over. At least that's what it's supposed to be. Okay. And so you cannot be showing that you're bothered by who he looks at or what he does, because the reality of it is when he looks at the girl, right? Let's say, for example, he looks at a girl with a huge dump truck. He looks at her when she walks by. He's already looked at the girl. So you throwing a fit about the fact he looks at the girl is actually only going to make the situation about that girl last longer. But if you just ignore it and move on to the next thing and you already are going on somewhere else and you're going into a store somewhere, he's going to already have forgotten about it right after he looked at her. You understand what I'm saying? And and he stops thinking about that girl. But you give her so much attention and so much power when now the rest of your date has been soured because you're like, why would you look at that girl's butt? And the whole time you're just talking about that same girl. Meanwhile, he doesn't even know that girl's name or care about that girl, and he would have forgotten about it the same second he looked. Don't give your power away to other women that aren't in your relationship. Okay, you'll be shocked how much that happens, okay? Let's hop into our next segment here. Okay, very important next segment going on. And we're going to, for those of you, you should know what's coming by now. Spam it up in the chat if you know what's coming by now. It's a very special time. It's an amazing time. It's a time where you're going to laugh, you're going to cry. Okay, don't look at your clock. Don't look at your watch. Don't look at your phone. Don't look nowhere else in your home. This is going to be great. It's going to be awesome. You're going to faint. It's going to be amazing. Amazing, I tell you. All right? If you don't know, I'm going to tell you. I need to put some baby oil on those springs, boy. They squeaky as hell. All right, let's go into our Discord. And we are going to have some discussion here today in our Discord. Okay. For those of you who are unaware, you're probably like, what is Discord time? Thompson, I'm new here. I don't know what any of this means. Discord time is essentially where all the amazing members of the Players Club get an opportunity to ask me a question in our Discord relationship advice section, and I answer it live on the show. I give you your advice live on the show. Now you have multiple ways of submitting your question into the show, and you can do that one of these three ways. Going to explain them to you right now. You can submit your question into our free relationship advice section, which is here in our Discord. It's just titled relationship advice. When you submit that, you format that properly. Go to the link in my bio on TikTok or the link in my description on YouTube, and then you hit the Discord and then you submit your question in there. Now you see all these highlighted questions. These are questions that I haven't answered yet, meaning I still have to get to those. Now, I want to get to your question, but it's going to take me a couple weeks to get to yours if you post it in our free relationship advice section. Now, I know some of you are like, Thompson, I don't want to wait a couple of weeks to get my question answered. I'm a little bit too impatient for that. You have another option. And your other option is to submit your question into our premium relationship advice. And you do that simply by going into our link in my bio on TikTok or the link in my description on YouTube. You go to where it says premium relationship advice. You donate to the show. And then when you donate to the show, I'm able to see that on my end, from my end. And I'm able to see that you've donated to the show and see your question there. Because when you donate to the show, you're going to put in the title of your username and the title of your question. And that way I'm able to ensure that that's you that has donated to the show and is asking your your question. That way, random people aren't able to donate to the show that didn't actually, ask the right question in there. Okay. So make sure that when you're sending in your premium relationship advice question, you're donating to the show. Because, for example, Irina did not donate to the show and I caught her and I'm not answering her question. Okay. So if you guys see that, don't think I'm skipping that. Irina didn't donate to the show. She tried to be sneaky. And so I'm not answering her question. I only do that not to be mean, but if you're going to skip the line, then I got to keep it fair for everyone else. I can't let people skip the line that didn't actually donate to the show. Okay. I got to keep that fair. Now, if you want me to answer your question, but you don't want me to read it out on the show because you don't want your business all out there, you also have the option to send in a private relationship question to me. And I actually built out a whole website for you guys to make this really easy so that the submissions can be easier for all of you. When you click this link, it's in the Discord and it's also in the link in my bio on TikTok and the link in my description on YouTube. You go to where it says private relationship advice, you click it and it takes you right to the page. All you do is you click ask him, you type up your question, or you can copy and paste it. It'll send you right to the page. And when you donate to the show and you submit your payment, it's going to submit your question with the payment. I'm going to have your email and everything to contact you. And then I'm going to be able to contact you through your email and send you a voice message to respond to the message that you sent in to me. So it's a very seamless process now with the website. Okay, I went ahead and did that for you all because I love you all so much and I know how much you guys have questions, okay? So let's hop over into our first question of the day, and I'm going to let you guys have the privilege of pre-reading this. I see some pineapple emojis. Oh, my God. I'm going to give you guys the privilege of pre-reading some of this, so you're going to know what's to come. I'm not going to know. While I go and I take a pee, because I've been drinking a lot of water, as you guys can see. I'm going to pee for a second. I'm going to come back, and we're going to read what's going on here, all right? Vicky Beach says, help me, master. All right. Okay. Nice. That's great. Okay, chat. So I'm back. Let's get this thing going. So Vicky Beach says, help me, master. Okay. Let's see. I'm sure some of you probably pre-read this, so I don't know what's going to happen. Vicky says, was invited to Din in January with my girlfriend and her boyfriend and his business partner as the guys were visiting our city in the Middle East. Okay, they live in the USA. I'm naturally flirty and may have come across interested in the business partner. I actually wasn't. At the end of the night, the business partner asked for my number, started chatting on WhatsApp daily, and invited me for a trip to Euro the next month. Still was not interested, but decided to go because I wanted to go to that city anyways. Where they do that at? That someone chats with you on WhatsApp, invites you for a trip to Euro that you met one time and you just go. I feel like that's a little bit of a safety risk. Maybe I'm just dumb. Okay, he booked business class flights, and when I arrived, had got me a gift. while on the trip, I had pineapples. I didn't care about my image, as was not thinking of him serious. Oh my God. Have you all that have joined me on multiple days, have you noticed the theme that every time someone says at the beginning, I wasn't taking this serious, they always end up having an issue with where things end up? I obviously haven't read this ahead of time, but it's just so obvious that every time you as a woman will say to yourself, I'm not going to take this serious, so who cares? We'll just have fun. You're always going to end up saying to yourself, I want this to be more than fun. If you end up having fun, because as you enjoy yourself, you're naturally not going to want this to end, and you're not going to just want it to continue to be casual, which is exactly why I say spend your time and energy wisely. Never just chalk it up to I'm having fun and enjoying myself. It's never fun. It's never about fun. It's about investing your time and energy into your future happiness. And your future happiness is not wasting years of your life on a guy who doesn't even call you his girlfriend. That is not what your future happiness is going to consist of. So do not waste your time. After the trip, it was Valentine's Day, and he didn't send me roses. Shocker! The guy you're not taking seriously, having fun with, is not buying you roses. Why are you upset though? I thought you weren't thinking of him seriously. Why does it bother you that the guy you weren't thinking of seriously didn't buy you roses? Chat, do you see the contradiction? Vicky, you're not a bad person because there's a lot of other people that do this. But I want you to recognize this is always a mistake, and you will always lose doing this. You are trying to convince yourself you're like one of the guys, one of the bros. I don't care. It's not serious. We'll just sleep. We'll just do whatever. Who cares? Fun. And then right after that, your next sentence is, but he didn't get me roses. Since when is your friends with benefits that you fly out and have some fun with supposed to be getting you roses? I thought this was just for fun. I complained and he sent flowers, but not to my expectations. What do you mean? What expectations do you have of a guy you're not taking seriously? So he sent better roses. Still not to my expectations. Very materialistic. Are you saying that you're very materialistic? You're admitting to that? Okay. I insulted him. He was mature in his responses and said, I must be used to an extremely high level guy, and perhaps he is not at my level. What is this message? I said he was right and blocked him. What's happening here? What happened to your fun? Vicky, what happened to your fun? Clearly you weren't having fun not being taken seriously. He got girlfriend's boyfriend to ask me if I can resolve as he really likes me. So your friend, which is the boyfriend's girlfriend, right? He asked that other guy to ask, to resolve it. And you said no. In August, bumped into his friend when I was traveling. It made me remember, felt bad for my drama behavior. So I messaged to say apologies. He said he would like to reconnect. I said we can give it a chance. Been speaking almost daily on WhatsApp and calls a few times per week. He is visiting my city next week on a business trip. A lot of business trips. Sometimes I can chat flirty and started to realize I'm giving him the idea that there will be pineapples. I mean, That's exactly what you did on the first trip. Why would he not think that that's going to happen again? Okay. No, not against that, as depending on my mood, I may just want to. Don't want him to feel special and like it's guaranteed. Told him he makes me feel cheap by expecting it. He seems very level-headed, and I know my behavior is to blame. What's the question here? He calmly spoke for 1 hour on call and said that we don't have to have pineapples. It's fine, normal dating like restaurants. He asked, where do I want this relationship to go and what are my expectations? I didn't know, so I dodged the question. He also asked, when was the last pineapples that I had? And I didn't know how to answer. What could I say? What do you think he is thinking with all my ups and downs? What's the title of this question? Help me master. What do you actually want help with? It doesn't seem like you're that remorseful. Like, okay, I'm going to give you a dose of reality. You have to start taking some accountability here. I don't understand. I read, you sent this is like the equivalent of like 2 to 3 paragraphs. I don't understand what it is you even want. You managed to write out a whole paragraph here. This is like what, 500, 600 words? I still don't understand what it is you even want out of the situation. That is concerning because you're sending me a message and I have to preface my response to you understanding what it is that you want out of the situation. And it doesn't even seem like you understand that, which is why, part of the reason why there's confusion in your relationship. You don't even know what it is that you're looking for. So not only can you not communicate that to him, but you also don't even know how to go about to getting what you're looking for because you don't know what it is you're looking for. You're telling me that, hey, you don't want him to expect pineapples, but you also wouldn't mind sleeping with him because you're not against it. You just don't want him to feel like it's guaranteed. And you just don't want to feel like you're cheap because he's expecting that from you. So what do you want? Do you want to be taken seriously or do you want this to be friends with You're confused. Vicky, not trying to be mean to you. You're confused. You're so confused because you don't even know where you stand with yourself. You don't know what you want to be and you don't know what type of relationship you want. You need to take a break from dating and figure out what it is you're looking for and then hop back into the dating world. And I mean that even in the sense of figure out if you're just looking for casual fun, cool. I'm not even going to tell you that's right or wrong. If that's what you want out of life, you want casual fun, go ahead and get casual fun. But what you should not expect is for the guys that you're having casual fun with to send you roses. Don't expect them to call you except for when they want to sleep with you and when it's late at night and they're horned up and they want to wank themselves off. Okay? Don't expect them to care about you. Don't expect them to wish you a happy birthday. Don't expect you to invite you out to nice dinners. Just expect for them to use you and take advantage of you when they feel it's necessary that they want something to jackrabbit themselves inside of for 90 seconds or less. If that's not what you're looking for and you actually want to get treated with some respect and you actually want them to call you on your birthday and send you roses and think about you other than 4 a.m. when they're horned up and want to wank themselves off, then I advise you to go about this relationship with as if you have some respect for yourself. You already made the mistake of sleeping with him on the business trip, but you're going to actually have to care. You're saying you slept with him on the business trip because you don't care. Well, you're going to have to start caring about your image. If you want to be taken seriously as a girlfriend or as someone that he actually takes care of or cares about. If you don't care about your image, that's fine, but don't wonder why he doesn't care about you. Like, this is your energy is so confused and so conflicted, you will never get anywhere in this relationship. There is no advice I can give you about how to deal with him unless I give you first advice on how to deal with yourself. Because you don't even know what you want to be. You don't know how you want to be perceived. You don't know how you want to be seen, and you don't know how you want to be treated. You want to have fun, but you also want to be taken care of. You want to be taken seriously, but you also don't want to care about your image or the perception of you. It makes no sense. And you're only going to be more confused because the guys you're with are even going to be confused yourself. It's like you want to have boundaries, but you also want to have no boundaries. So the guys don't know whether they're supposed to respect you or treat you like a hoe. They're confused themselves. So what's the point of any of this? Until you first understand what it is that you're looking for out of the relationship. Okay? Because until you understand that and know what it is you're looking for, you're going to be confused and the guy is going to be confused yourself. Because even me, I'm confused what you want and what you're looking for. I don't even know what your expectations are. And even when the guy asked you what your expectations are, you didn't have an answer for him. And it's not because, you didn't want to let him in on what's going on with you or anything like that. It's simply because you didn't even know what your expectations are. You don't know where you want this to go. You don't know what you want to be perceived as. You're just going with the flow. You're going with the flow for yourself, and you're wondering why he's going with the flow too. I can 100% guarantee you on the path that you're on, he'll come to wherever he's going to in your city for the business trip. He'll, maybe he'll go out with you. He'll try to sleep with you. If he can't sleep with you, he'll probably be frustrated and stop talking to you after that. So I don't know what you want out of that. And I'm confused on what you even want, Vicky, truthfully. And you need to figure that out before you can really even get what you want out of a relationship, because we don't even know what you want out of a relationship. Okay. Next we have here, Giggles Day. Okay. So Giggles Day starts off her question with, let me see here. Giggles Day starts off her question with high long distance. High long distance? Like getting high? Okay. I'm 28. He's 30. We just started dating in September, but have been talking since June. The problem is that I feel like we are wasting our time. Okay, at least you're aware. We have talked about us getting together and getting engaged once I finished law school. The problem is that I feel like ever since I said yes to him, his communication has not been up to par. And every time I bring it up, he tells me that he feels the same way that I do. He tells me that sometimes he takes long because I take long. I'm not going to lie. Sometimes I do take long to respond, but I have things going on while he is at home. At home doing what? He's got to have, does he have no job? Is he unemployed? That's a deeper issue. So when I get free from school, I'm expecting for him to be available. And lately I have been finding out that he is becoming less and less available. So are you saying he works from home or he's just unemployed? What are you saying that he's at home? Because being at home doesn't mean he's unemployed. He could be working from home, in which case you just might not be texting. And again, when I ask him about it, he tells me that he was sleeping or asked me to provide him with examples. And at that moment, I can't come up with anything. So I'm having a hard time differentiating if it is just me or he is actually changing. Part of me thinks that I wouldn't feel this way if it weren't true. I just hate long distance relationships because I feel like it takes so long to grow that bond, and also because I feel like his interest has been diminishing, and I don't know if it's because he recently lost his job. Okay, there we go. He's unemployed. He lost his job as a doctor because the clinic that he was working for just went bankrupt, and that maybe he is depressed about it, or because he is trying to open up his own clinic, but things just fell through. Okay, so usually doctors don't have money issues, because money issues, I mean, doctors are needed everywhere. So I don't really think it's really that he's unemployed, but I definitely feel like if he wanted to get another job as a doctor, he could do that. I don't think it's that hard. Everywhere needs doctors. And I'm a little bit confused here. So he's starting his own clinic. I guess that's frustrating for him. But once again, is he doing something with his time while he's at home? Maybe building his clinic. That could also be taking his time and brain power, which might be why he's not available to you. I'm a bit confused though why he said he takes long because you take long. That's childish. Okay. He used to get on me for disappearing throughout the day, so I changed my behavior, and now he is the one doing it, you might say. I also don't want to bring it up because I feel like at this point I'm just nagging, and I don't want to nag a grown man, especially not this early in the relationship. So I'm here looking for guidance. I like him a lot, but I also don't want to waste my time. I really don't want to end it, but I also don't know what the problem is nor how to fix it. Please help me. So the conundrum you're in, Giggles, is a complicated one, and there's only one real simple way to answer it. There's nothing else that you're supposed to be doing here other than this. You literally have to sit and stop texting him, stop calling him, and stop messaging him, and see what happens when you do that. Because right now, what's happening is you're in a hamster wheel. So the communication's lacking, you complain, nothing really changes, you're still frustrated, and you guys just keep going through this cycle over and over again. So now you need something drastic to shake things up. And what I mean drastic is you have to pull yourself all the way back and see if that actually ends up making him say, all right, something has to change here. Because right now, this hamster wheel dynamic that you have going on is what's making you feel like time is being wasted. Now, once you cut the communication completely and you disappear, he is forced to make a decision here. Either I just stop texting you and calling you and I just, who cares, whatever, it's whatever. Or he reaches out to you and he's like, clearly something is bothering you and is wrong. What's going on with you? At which time, then you can express, look, I'm just not here to waste my time anymore. And I'm going to move forward with my life because I can't be here just sitting here. We're not building towards anything. It doesn't seem like we're getting anywhere. And this is just becoming very useless, pointless waste of my time. And you only are going to say that once he reaches out to you and asks you what's going on, what's the problem, once you withdraw. Then you leave him. Once you explain that to him why you withdrawn, and he says, cool, okay, now I understand, blah, 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 blah. You hang up the phone. Once you hang up the phone, you do not do any more reaching out to him. And we'll see if after that, he reaches out to you and tries to fix the problem. If you guys have a conversation, he asks you what's wrong, blah, 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 blah. You tell him what's going on, right? It's going to be the same thing you've been saying, and that you're ready to move on and you don't want to waste your time anymore. And he says, okay, fine, whatever. He hangs up the phone and then he doesn't text you or speak to you after that. Then you consider that a breakup and you just move on with your life. I know that sounds really cutthroat, but here's the thing. You have to start getting serious about your time. Unfortunately, this is the exact situation and reason why I advise most of you to not even be entertaining long distance relationships, unfortunately. Not because I think it's impossible or because I don't want you guys to have happiness, but the truth of the matter is when you find yourself building a long distance relationship with a guy who's not very, very intentional about you and with you, you'll end up being in a situation like this. You text sometimes, maybe call once in a while. You kind of speak some days, you kind of don't some days. You never see the person. There's no plans to see the person. And so what's the point? You don't even get the opportunity to meet new people because you're sitting here wondering if this is still supposed to be a thing. But you also don't get the opportunity to build a relationship with the person that's supposed to be your partner. So it just ends up being such a pointless waste of time. And my advice with you, Giggles, is to end this once and for all. You withdraw yourself completely. If he doesn't seem pressed about it, if he doesn't seem, wanting to fix it or wanting to make it better or anything like that, just move yourself forward. You don't even need to do the whole, oh, well, we're breaking up, blah, 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 blah. Send the breakup message, to send the breakup text and the breakup phone call. Just move forward. Okay. I really mean that. I know it sounds cutthroat, but you just got to stop wasting time at a certain point. You got to. Okay. Next, here we have, Keiju, okay. I seen Keiju, you sent in your thing. I checked my phone and I saw that you sent it in. Okay, so sent in your donation. So Kaiju, I should say, says, "Hello, I am 31 talking to a male who's 41. Okay, so me and this guy met on a dating site. He messaged me first after he saw that I viewed his profile." What do you mean viewed his profile? You didn't even like it? You just viewed it? "Now we've been talking 2 months. He's a Pisces. I'm a Gemini." Okay. "We don't live in the same state. This man has me in a chokehold." Little bit about him. He's 6'5", chocolate, full head of hair. Oh my God. He is so emotionally intelligent. I'm 6'3", chat. Okay. Don't worry. The way he talks up to me, be having me ready to do a cartwheel. He has his own everything, and he just retired from his career job because he owns a nonprofit that is becoming really successful. He's so fine. So we haven't met in person yet. Due to both of us, but he has sent me money that he offered once. So one time I said something he didn't like and he stopped talking to me for a few days. Saying basically he's been single for 5 years and likes his peace. He's so happy with his life and travels the world. After that, we both agreed to not go without speaking to each other. Everything was good after. About a week later, or later, he disappeared for 2 days randomly and didn't respond to my calls or texts. Then text me this to the point. Wait, what? Then text me this to the point. Message that he'll fill me in later to his whereabouts and offered to send me money towards something I needed that we talked about before his disappearance. This is very strange. My crazy self didn't respond, so he texted me 2 days later asking if I could talk. What is going on here? I said, "You can call," so then he didn't call. Once it hit 12 a.m., I texted him telling him our window of communication is closed. We had a brief conversation where he was saying, "It's that easy. This breaks my heart." I ended up saying something he didn't like again, and he pulled back away. Other day, we scheduled a call. I didn't answer. That seemed to upset him after saying I gave him a hard time about phone calls. Blah, blah, blah. It happened again. We scheduled a phone call. I missed his call. I called back 30 minutes later. He didn't answer, and he hasn't talked to me since 3 days. I want him back. LOL. Someone said, "Is this real?" I mean, the donation's real, so I'm assuming you're going to donate to the show to send a real message, not a fake one. I don't know. Kaiju. Stop wasting your time. Okay? I know that you think that this is the only 6'5" chocolate man in the entire world with a little bit of money. but I promise you it's not. Okay. And I promise you there are more amazing men in your area, or at least men that you'll see in person. Like you can't get stuck in the cycle of feeling like you know someone because you text them or message them or speak to them on the phone. Because honestly, the reality of it is, after everything you've talked and discussed with that man, you could meet him in person. He could be 6'5", fine as wine and all that great stuff. And you might still not vibe with him. He might still be not your cup of tea, or some things might just irk you about him. You never really know how you feel about someone until you see them in person. And there could just be things that just make them incompatible with you, that even sometimes you can't put your finger on. But that's part of meeting someone and exploring them and understanding them and learning them, is learning, do I even like you? Do I like your vibe? Do we connect with each other, right? Are you compelling to me? And there's nothing wrong with getting that understanding and answering that question for yourself. But honestly, I just don't feel like this is even a real relationship. I mean, you guys are doing no offense, but you're doing a lot of high school stuff. Oh, you didn't call me. I didn't call me back. You didn't answer when I wanted to call you. I'm not talking to you today. And it's just like the back and forth, especially for, I was going to say a relationship, a situation where neither of you have even met each other, is just so silly. Nowhere in here do I mean, you talked about earlier, oh, we tried to see each other in person, but like, let's stop the sending money and let's stop the yibber yabber every day. And like, when are we actually going to get to the stuff? Okay. We're going to get to the substance, and the substance is, when are we actually going to see each other? Like it's great that you guys are trying to have phone calls and this and that and text and all that other stuff. But like, why don't we use one of these phone call conversations to schedule the logistics of actually meeting each other in person? And how about this, okay? For you, Kaiju, I'm gonna give you some solid actionable items. How about the next phone call that does get scheduled, if you guys do this again, is soulfully for the purpose of gathering the logistics towards how you guys are going to see each other in person. And how about this? Until you guys are having a scheduled phone call about the logistics of seeing each other in person and locking that date in, don't have any other conversations. Because this is the mistake you're making. You're having conversations hoping it will eventually turn into a meetup. What should be happening is the meetup should be scheduled. Then you guys should be having conversations leading up to the meetup. Because at this point in time, as much conversation as long as this has been going on, right? This is 2 months going on and no planned meetup. You're now in wasting time territory, because you can't continue talking over the phone with no plan of actually meeting up. You're just going to continue wasting time. So a decision has to be made here. And if you're not going to make that decision, then just stop going on calls, okay? And if you guys aren't going to schedule that, or he's not going to schedule that, then just stop going on calls. Stop answering them. Stop texting him back. If he's not going to be texting you, you know how they say, if you ain't talking money, I don't want to talk. If you ain't talking meeting up or coming to my place or scheduling the logistics or booking their plane ticket, I don't want to talk. That's how you should be, truthfully, because you can't waste a whole bunch of time chit-chatting. You got to have better things to do in your life than just sit around chit-chatting. It's pointless, so pointless. Chit-chat is so pointless. Let's go on to our next one in our free section. What's going on here? Oh, that was hoods. This one was deleted by Moxigirl. Okay. Let's go to our next one. What's going on here? My doctor is hot. I want to make a move on him somehow. Okay. Hi, Thompson. I really would love to hear your advice on this. Recently, I've been sick and went to checkups at a clinic. There I was assigned to... What? There I was assigned to old lady doctor and her maybe assistant, also a guy doctor that seems to be my age. He's dreamy. I think we kind of flirted when I explained my symptoms and we made a joke or two. That's what you think happened? You don't think he was doing his job and just making you feel comfortable because he's a male doctor and you're a female patient? Let's go on. Then my heart stopped when he dropped a little stamp from his pocket, and when I picked it up to give it to him, he stamped my blood analysis paper with it. What the hell is going on here? Is this a Wattpad story? I'm going to read this again, chat. Then my heart stopped when he dropped a little stamp from his pocket, and when I picked it up to give it to him, he stamped my blood pressure analysis paper with it. Yeah, that's you're like in a pineapple movie. The stamp was actually a little piggy that someone gave to him. After that, I went back and he asked me how I was with a slight smile. He lingered around, it seems, and because I had to get some shots, he was there 2 to 3 times when my dumpy was kind of exposed. Why is your dump truck exposed getting shots? You don't like, what shots are you getting in your butt? What's going on here? What type of checkup is this? I have to do one last checkup soon, and I want to ask you, what should I do? I watched a lot of your vids, and I know you said that pursuing a man is a bad thing to do. I think this is actually a serious question. But I want to at least bait him somehow. There's no guarantee I'll see him again, and he doesn't have social media. Couldn't find anything about him. My idea was to ask the old lady doctor if she can give him my number. She seems chill like that. Is that a good idea? Please help. Love your vids, by the way. Helped me a lot. My advice is to honestly not get ahead of yourself. I don't I'm going to be real with you. I don't think the doctor was flirting with you by making a joke. And I don't think he was flirting with you by smiling at you. I think if he was, it would be very unprofessional. And he's actually risking his job by doing anything inappropriate with you as a male doctor when you're a female patient. So I think anything he was doing to be nice with you in that, room when you were there is just for the simple fact of making you feel comfortable. Okay. Yeah, someone says, Vonna says, and his license, right? Like he's risking not just his ability to work, but his ability to have any work anywhere, okay? And practice anywhere. I not say that you're not special and amazing, but I just doubt he would sacrifice that for a quick flirt with a random stranger. Not to say that doctors don't think some of the patients are hot or anything like that, but I just don't think that what you're describing here is what you think it is. And I unfortunately, you have to understand with, and we talked about this yesterday, in some cases, it's just not the right time or place. And it's just not an appropriate, time to be doing so. There's never a right time to approach a guy, right? A guy should be approaching you. But I definitely don't think asking the doctor, the other lady doctor, for his number would benefit you. I don't think stalking him and following him on social media would benefit you. I understand you think he's cute. I understand you would love to get to know him, and you're probably at home rubbing one out to the fantasy of maybe he's going to flip you over on the table and penetrate you. But just keep it a fantasy. Watch some doctor videos on the hub and call it a day, because I just don't think that this is going anywhere. And I feel like the fantasy is just building up in your mind so much you feel the need to pursue it when there's nothing there. Okay. Nothing wrong with having a little fantasy, right? But rub one out and call it a day. I really mean that. And sometimes you can get lost in the fantasy where you actually feel like you have to make it real and do something about it. And the reality of it is, you will never get a relationship out of a guy that you ask the other doctor for his number and you're doing all, you're not going to have the type of relationship that you're looking for. Keep it a fantasy, rub one out, watch a couple of doctor videos, call it a day. Okay. There's more guys that you can meet that aren't and put in a weird situation where he's your doctor and he could lose his license talking to you. Just call it a day. Watch some videos, call it a day. Next, here we have, let's see here. I know some of you guys be freaky, but like, you know what I mean? Like sometimes you just got to recognize I'm just horned up. That's fine. Okay. And then just, rub it out, call it a day. Girl best friend, Parksella 450. Hey, my ex-boyfriend had a secret girl best friend he was cheating on me with. While he was cheating on me with her, I didn't find out yet. He would make suggestions for me to wear or do things, and I would feel sick and get a gut feeling. Out of nowhere, he would ask me to start wearing lipstick, get a septum, and wear body jewelry. That's so weird. Like it's not weird what he's asking for, but it's weird that he's trying to turn you into the other girl. That's very weird. That's so weird. He also bought me gym skirts, and skimpy sleep wear. Okay. From your man brain, I want to know why he would try to change me to be like her style, but still be with me and not her for so long. It's actually really, really, really simple. It's a really simple math equation. She doesn't want to be in a relationship with him. Really simple. That's why. Why didn't he just break up with me? Because he wants to get attention and validation from a girl. He just knows that that girl that he actually wants doesn't want to be with him. So he's just going to wait it out. I don't care if you hurt my feelings and be honest. I want closure so bad, but I refuse to break no contact, and I know he will never give me the truth even if I ask. So Parksella, you also added, I like to add that they started as just... They started as just friends with benefits, but over time, I believe they both caught feelings. This has shattered my entire strategy, making men wait to have pineapples with me. Because of the fact that he fell for this other girl. Swear I'm not ugly at all. I'm a gym girl with a decent face. Okay. Deep down, I know he will probably cheat on her too, but it's difficult to accept someone took my man away by giving pineapples easy when I made him wait and earn it. Oh, sweet. So you're saying that he slept with her early and now you're confused because you're like, oh, I made him wait, but she let him have it really easy, but now he wants her more. So that's why you're partially confused, right? Does this mean does this mean easier girls win? No, I'll explain it to you. P.S. He added on her on social media after when we broke up and is taking her to Halloween Horror Nights and is doing couple things with her. He has created a smear campaign against me to his entire family. I genuinely can't understand why I'm being painted as a villain when he was the cheater and why he is treating a hoe so well, by taking her on nice dates. Here's the thing. So you said that the secret best friend, he slept with her. They slept together. Here's the thing though. There are some girls that sleep with guys and they're genuinely not looking to be in a relationship with that guy. And so there could be a thing going on here where they're best friends. She sleeps with him, but she also sleeps with other guys that she wants to sleep with. So he could be finding himself in a situation where he can't really tie her down or get her to be solely committed to him. Maybe she just likes to have her fun and do her thing. And so instead of, him actually being with her, because he can't really, because she's kind of just like there's free spirit type of people. And she wants to be a free spirit type of person. So he essentially chalks it up to, well, I like her, but she's a free spirit and I can't tie her down. So I'll just kind of be friends with benefits with her and whatnot, right? She's like the fun girl, okay? Very fun girl. We go out, we have fun, we do things, and it's a lots and lots of fun. And he enjoys having fun. Fun can be, what's the word I'm looking for? Exhilarating. Here's the thing though. You have to understand setting boundaries and being hard and making guys wait. That will always be the less fun way to go about things. Okay. And unfortunately, it's the road less traveled, but you will end up attracting the type of man that you're looking for. Not every man is who you're looking for. And some guys that are obsessed with just having fun and having a good time aren't really trying to be in a real relationship. And if they're of the mind state and the mind frame that they just want fun, you setting boundaries is only going to deter them away. Being serious about your life and what you want out of it is only going to deter them away. Having expectations or standards is only going to deter them away. On top of that, I just don't think that you should ever concern yourself with someone who wants you to be someone else. Do you understand what I'm saying? And I don't want you to ever think that you're a bad person because you're not her. Because him trying to get you to wear the lipstick that she wears and the body jewelry that she wears and wear a septum like her, that is very weird. And I don't want you to think that you need to be more like someone else to be more likable. At the end of the day, if that guy was wanting you to be her, it's way better for you anyways to be in a situation where you can figure that out earlier rather than later and move on with your life. Because you're looking for someone who's interested in you, not someone who's essentially, think of this like, when a guy is still into his ex-girlfriend. Are you following what I'm saying? And when he's still into his ex-girlfriend and still has feelings for her, he kind of just can't get rid of her. He doesn't cut her off. They're still in each other's lives. They still kind of chit chat and they're still doing a thing. And you can't fight against that. You just have to recognize when that's happening and recognize when you're just wasting your time here with this guy. Because you can't be begging him and fighting for him to see you and notice you. Meanwhile, he's doing all this other stuff with her. And like you said, he cheated on you with her. So at that point, let her have him. Whatever they do is what they choose to do. And don't concern yourself too much with what he thinks. You said that he's calling you the villain and stuff to his family. Who cares? You never speak to them again. Who cares? Like you don't want a cheater in your life anyways. Who cares how he speaks to you, what he says about you? Sometimes it happens to all of us. We can get caught up in what other people think about us. But in reality, an ex-boyfriend who cheated on you, it doesn't matter what he thinks. He can say you're the worst person ever. Who cares what he thinks? You don't want to at least be in a relationship with him again, and you're not going to speak to his family again. Let's just be for real. Who cares what he thinks? Who cares? Let him and the other girl that want to mess around with each other, let them be together. And you start thinking to yourself, woo, dodged a bullet there. So glad I found that out in year number 1 or wherever you found that out, instead of waiting 10 years or 5 years or wherever, even longer. Now I can, move on with my life. And also think of it as a good thing that you caught him cheating and you know it to be true and you know he's not the guy for you, because now at least that's closure for you. Instead of you thinking, oh, well, maybe we could be together if he was better. No, he was a horrible partner. He didn't treat you well. Easy to move on. Okay. All right. All right, guys, that is the show for today. For those of you who have a question for me, feel free to drop it into our relationship advice section. If you want to skip the line, you can do premium relationship advice as well. Or you can do a private relationship advice question simply by going into the link in my bio on TikTok or the link in my description on YouTube. And you'll see the premium relationship advice section there, or the private relationship advice section there as well. For those of you who want to follow me on Instagram, my Instagram is right above my head on the top left corner of the screen on TikTok. It's right there on the bottom right corner of the screen on YouTube as well. And you guys can follow me on Instagram and see what I'm doing at all times of the day. For those of you who are on TikTok and you want to rewatch the show because you missed parts of it or you came late and you want to see all these things, or you want to rewind parts that you thought were funny, you can go onto my YouTube page, which is just Tomisin Atobatele. You can just type in my first name, Tomisin, Tomisin on YouTube. You'll find my YouTube page. Go into the live section. You'll see all the live streams. Why is someone saying Timu saved me? Like for a toy? Okay, there's a toy link in my description actually, and a link in my bio as well. So if you go to find my YouTube channel and all that stuff, and you'll see there's a toy link there. That's a toy I recommend to all of you to get. Okay, if you're looking for a toy. And so for those of you who want to rewatch the show, you go on YouTube, go to the live section, and then you'll be able to find this live stream along with all the other live streams I've done since the beginning of time. And the best thing is you'll have all of the YouTube and TikTok live chat available in the stream. So in the video at least, and then you'll be able to follow it there along as I'm talking and chit-chatting the whole time. Okay? For those of you guys who are wondering what time I'm going to be on again, I'm going to be on at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm here every weekday, Monday to Friday. So until we meet again, which will be tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, goodbye for now. Au revoir, hasta la vista, sayonara, adios, ciao, salam, bon voyage. And I will see you again tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern. Okay? I love you so much. Okay.